everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Get this down here. Oh yeah. What is going on here, folks? Make sure here. Do my audio test here. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, we'll just put it on this page here. All right, let's see here. Check the audio here. Seems to be okay. Everybody hear me okay? Oh, let's see here. What's going on, folks? All the usual suspects seem to be in there. Let me just do this. I gotta set my screen in this thing or else it's... I wouldn't say it's really far away because clearly it's not. I can reach it with my arm, but let me see here. What is going on? There it is. A little better. All right, there we go. That's what I'm looking for, right there. All right. Let me see. Who's in there this evening? Let me see here. Let me put this up. Let me see. Go to here real quick. Don't mind me, folks. I'm just doing something here. And I can't. Let's do it this way. Let's see. I don't remember if it was. Oops. Hate it when that happens. Okay. We are back. All right. Let's see here. Seems like this is good. I actually got in here late, guys. I got in here late. I was like, man, I got like, you can see this is what I got for space news right here, right? Kind of funny. But we're going to go over a couple of the things we talked about this during the last video as well as the prior one, the moon. And we have the close-up pictures. And I put some filters on that moon video in addition to what I had last in the video, which is like a black and white. So a little bit better. But let's see here. Mr. Billy Carson, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in there. And I appreciate the support. No doubt. What the heck is this? Oh. Let's see. Okay, better. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I've heard from you. I know you're a busy man. So I do appreciate you. I have actually nothing ready here. But we are here. Usually, as a rule, we are rocking and rolling, which we are now. What's going on, everyone? All the fine folks out there. Let's see. Mars the Second Genesis is in here. Mimi's in here. Ricardo Petrazzi. Josh D. The Humble Pie. Ricardo Petrazzi again, of course. Elaine Millard, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, or shoot me, whichever comes first. Mags K is in there. Eric Bauer. Bud Norton. Phil C. Pete Ferrero. Let's see. Don't want to. The Ancient Alternative View. I guess you're new here because you said pleased to meet you all. What's going on? Welcome aboard. Let's see. Whitebeard Sky Daddy. What's happening? Good to see you in there. Leslie Ann Warren. What's happening? Long time no see is right. How have you been? Phil sees it. If you're a diehard fan, just hit the button. That one button, you know it. Speaking of which, that we got our thumbs down. Good to see you in there. Oops. Got to say hi to them too. Come on. At least they're taking the time to come over to the channel, right? Let's see. Horse Slimmer says, hello guys. What's going on? Just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone here. Gabriel Akari, I guess it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Human race not on the top of the food chain. Luis Elizondo. We can actually talk about that too. There's a lot of things going around about all that, and you know, I'm just not a big fan of the fear-mongering, if you know what I mean. You know, people saying, well, you know, this and that's going to happen, and all this other stuff, and they're in our, you know, airways or in our areas of that are like military, whatever it may be. Yeah. Cameron, what's happening? Great for all, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Goat Heart's in there. I can't believe I got the notification and I made it. Yes, you did. A lot of people haven't been getting that. Like I said, folks, just make sure you're still subscribed and hit that little bell, because for some reason you're not the first one that said that. I don't know how many people have been saying that lately, so just check back as always. You know, we were able to get the as busy as I was this week, and not super busy, but busy enough to, I was trying to get out a third video this week, and that didn't happen. But still, got the other two out. Claire Mead's in there. Hello, Claire. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Martin Wolf's in there. What's going on, Martin? Oh, yeah. Noodles, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Yeah, I've heard about that a little bit, Noodles. You were talking about iGadget Pro has a new video. See Perseverance rover's new Mars driving video and strange sound recording by Insight Lander. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, we've heard. In fact, I think I still got them on this computer where I think there's like 3 recordings, and every one of them, you know, they want to make it sound like, oh, it's just wind throwing, you know, sand up against the Insight Lander, right? I don't believe that's the case at all. One of them sounds like, because understand, it has basically, you know, it's, well, you know how, one of the things is to, you know, listen for earthquakes, you know, seismic activity and all this other stuff. And one of the videos, you can literally hear this thing. It sounds like it's like a train coming from a long distance away, going underneath, and then keep going. That's what it sounded like to me on one of the videos. One of them, or audio, I should say audio clip, right? The other one literally sounds like something's bang, 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 banging on it. It's like, what would cause it to do that? What would do that? Unless they have all kinds of loose stuff on the lander, which I highly doubt, and I can almost promise you they don't. And I think we discussed this before where, remember they had like the arm moving? This was funny because here's these big think tank, all these biggest brains in the world from NASA and of course ESA, all these people are saying, oh yeah, we're gonna use the seismograph now. And yet they said, oh, this is the sound of the actual arm moving. Wait a minute, you're using this, why would you be using a seismograph at the same time as you're using the arm? Clearly it's going to pick it up through the ground from the actual body of the lander through the ground. Common sense would tell you that. So why would you run both of them at the same time unless that's not what you're doing and the sounds are being picked up from something else? It just seems a little odd to me that these people, as bright and as intelligent as they are, they go, hey, I got an idea, why don't we do this? Why don't we have the seismograph working at the same time the arm is? Come on. Come on. You have to believe they're not that stupid. And I don't believe that they are. Let me see here. Oh, hold on. All right, that's wrong. I just booted this computer up not long ago. This one here is just a hair bit slower than a gaming computer, so had me all messed up here. To be truthful with you guys. That's why I'm kind of messing with it a little bit. There we go. All right, we're back to normal. Let's see. Bex, your question was, what do you guys think about Billy Carson? Good friend of mine. Stand-up guy, down to earth. I mean, he's pretty much into everything. CEO of his own space agency. And, you know, what can I say? He's just about into everything. He's started his own music label. Entrepreneur, pretty much. I mean, I know him personally. I've been down there every time I go down to Florida to see my daughter. Now, last couple of years, not so much because he's been busy in and out of the States. And, yeah, I mean, other than that, we try to go down there, we'll grab a bite to eat, talk about all the stuff that's been going on lately with his life and mine, and just chilling. So, yeah. It's a good question there, Ricardo. He said, what is the picture of the what do you call it, the day from space? I'm not sure about that one. I was just kind of going through here. This is space.com. And now, as you guys know, now Mars is now on, it's not on the opposite side of the sun. Now it's now in view, so now we can get pictures back from I was going to say Curiosity, but that's true too, Perseverance as well as Ingenuity. The helicopter, you can see the Mars helicopter Ingenuity is ready to fly again after interplanetary radio blackout. Now, and it says right here, seven hours ago, is ready to make its first flight attempt after 2-week communications blackout caused by sun being directly between Earth and the red planet, which is true. So I still don't get how they can have the X-band actually transmit a signal, and I've talked about this before, where basically it's like a boop, 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 boop. It's like a ping type thing. It sends it back to Earth. So, you know, once the rover goes into basically a sleep, supposedly asleep, it goes to sleep for basically the 2 weeks, and it'll just ping. So now everybody here on Earth can hear that it's okay. As long as it's pinging, they can hear that. They know it's all right. And it's fully functional. It's like, wait a minute, you can't get a signal any other way, but you can get that X-band signal to come through. I'm a little confused. So now, that may be absolutely true. I'm not sure. Or they just say, oh, yeah, it's blacked out, and that gives them the chance to do whatever they want behind the scenes and just do more. Think about it. In freaking 2 weeks, how many pictures can they take? You know what I mean? Especially if they're really looking at something of real interest, which is probably just about everything that's around the actual Perseverance at this point. So, yeah. And here's the other thing, too, guys. The new James Webb telescope is going to be going, I think it said in what? Is it 28 something days? Is it 28? You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. But that's going to go up, and it's going to make the Hubble look like garbage. They're going to be able to see on the outer reaches of basically the universe. So I'd be curious to see how that's going to work out. Because it's been delayed. So finally, this thing's going to be rocking and rolling. Hopefully that'll new pictures, new experiments, new everything, you name it, right? So I don't know about you folks, but I'd be happy to see that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mimi, you said amazing the helicopter's still functional. Yeah, well, functioning. What I find interesting, and you guys, I've said this before, when you look at the helicopter, maybe we'll put it in, it should go in a bigger screen here. What I find interesting is the solar panels are literally on top of the blades here, the rotor blades right there, and it's full of dust. Okay, so let me get this right. They said there's not that much sunlight on Mars because it's farther away than Earth. Well, that's true. There's no doubt about that. But yet, this small little solar panel can pick up enough juice to get this thing to fly again. I don't know. I'm a bit dubious. You guys know that's, you know, the way it is. And I'm not saying it's not true that it can't. I believe it's getting a lot more sun than they're saying. One, the sky is blue. In fact, I got a video I'm going to show you guys. I think it was funny. And I've talked about this, about the InSight. When it landed, its first photo, when it landed, this was great. The guy literally says in there, he says, oh, by the way, he says, I believe that's the dust that's on the dust cover. But the first photo was of blue sky and a regular colored ground had the specks all over it. Then all of a sudden, boom, not seconds later, the red drops on top, which is basically a lens that goes over the camera. I'm going, so which one is the cover that was protecting it at the time? Because no matter which one you saw, they were both, one was color, full color, and the other was completely red like trash, like we usually get. So, doesn't make any sense. I'll play that for you too. It's pretty funny. It's only like a 22-second video. So I thought that was kind of interesting. There you go, Trell. He said 2 weeks for the real Mars crew to do maintenance on the rovers and explore more buried tech and ruins. Yeah, I mean, now, truthfully, I don't know if they're actually really there. Now, it would not surprise me. We talked about this before. I believe there's moon bases on there, and I believe at this point that there are people also on Mars. Now, it's more believable to have people on the moon than there is on Mars because, obviously, moon is our closest satellite. So, therefore, there's a lot better chance. Like, back during the Apollo missions, you would expect that. In other words, like I said, they never stopped going. So, therefore, they probably built a base there either just prior to the Apollo missions or that was the real reason why they went up, to actually maybe build something up there at that time. How do we know? Now, they only said they only had the small capsule lander kind of thing, and that was pretty much it. Okay, I'll go with that. But even if they didn't do it during the Apollo missions, you can bet that they kept going. There's just no way around it. And I'm gauging that, and I'm saying that judging by the photos that we've ripped apart from Apollo missions, where like the mountains or buttes, call them what you want, in the background are not that at all. They're actually what look like spacecraft, structures, mechanical objects. So that stuff is there. If it is there, and it truly is, then this is the reason why they never stopped going. They kept going. So, yeah. And it would be nothing for them to, after, go to Mars. Because they go, okay, we know we can get there to the moon with no problems. And they probably used a different spacecraft at that time. I told you my theories about that. And speculated, of course. So why would it be hard to believe that they wouldn't be able to go to Mars in the process? Meaning, okay, we can now take the chance. Now, it doesn't mean there wouldn't be faults. People wouldn't get killed during the process because they've never traveled that far from Earth to another planet, only to the moon, right? So why would they continue, or why would they try or take the chance to? Why? Because clearly they've seen something back in 1975 and 1976 during the actual Viking lander. All it's got to do is just take a look around, take some snapshots. That's all it needs to do, and say, stuff. Things laying all over the ground here. Objects, whatever they may be, that's all we need to know. Get there. So it would not surprise me even back then that they already went. So if they can go, the only dilemma is the time and distance to get to Mars. But if they solve that, then clearly they're already there, you know. Steve Garnham, yeah, I agree with you. He said, I hope the, what do you call it, the telescope will also be good. I'm hoping. What's going on, Mike Knapp? Good to see you there. Oh yeah, Mimi. Yeah, I totally agree with that. You said the government has been to Mars. They have UFO technology since the 40s. I think, you know, here's the thing. Once you've achieved flight, right? You know, simple stuff, and then all of a sudden you kept going and kept going. Again, SR-71. Now it's probably the TR-3B, and it's so on and so forth. You're going to continue to evolve your, you know, equipment. It's just as simple as that. Look at the way cars have come. Back in the 1890s, there was electric cars all lined up, all plugged in, ready to rock. Of course, the technology was basically poor. Nothing was really efficient back then. The battery storage was trash. And that's basically what it comes down to. So now it's come back around full circle, and now we have these things so modern now compared to what it used to be. So we're constantly pushing the envelope, constantly want to go faster, higher, you name it. Let's get it more efficient. Why do you think cars now, even trucks now, are like, people laugh and go, come give me a break. 27 miles to the gallon for a pickup. That's actually pretty darn good considering most of them were like 18 and 19 back in 2000. So more power, more efficiency, better fuel economy. Plus we got more gears in the transmission which help, so on and so forth, right? So innovation is everything. And again, the human being is always pushing the envelope. And you're going to have failures no matter what it is. Recalls, name it, call it what you want. Space shuttle accidents, things like that. You know, do you want to see these things happen? No. But it's going to happen in the sense of, you know, being anything to do with science and trying to push that envelope. So, yeah. Renee V, what's going on? He said 2 great videos, Chris, this week. Well, I appreciate it. You know, I was trying to get out a third, and I just couldn't get it out. But so I decided to do one of each. And of course, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but on the lunar anomalies and beyond, I also put it over there. 2 reasons. One, in case somehow they decide to axe the channel, because some people have been stifled, and they're pretty much doing it to our channels anyway, where all of a sudden you're not getting the sub gain like we were, you're not getting the suggested views to watch the channel, so on and so forth, people getting unsubbed, you know, things like that, you know, not getting notified. I wonder why that is. So And I've heard people talk about, you know, like when they're doing their monetary, that, you know, when they look at their page at the, I don't know what it is, 21st of the month or whatever it may be, where they're looking at it going, how is that possible? I had more views this time around than I did then. So that, and the fact that, like I said, you know, this way here, all the things to do with the moon are there. Just like we got more coming up. Thank you to Julia Galley, where I talked to her as well and asked her for some more photos of Antarctica. So there's going to be a couple more of those coming up as well. And those will be on the channel. So again, a big thank you to her because she's pretty busy. So she was able to send me some decent sized photos of, you know, some Antarctica pics. So that'll be pretty cool. Oops. Thank you, Mimi. You said, Chris, your lunar video was great. Yeah, that's some pretty cool stuff. Now, it's kind of like what Joe did from Audio TV. Same photo. Somebody said, and I knew it. Somebody says, hey, man, you got to check this out. It's a really good. I said, somebody must have seen this lately. So I checked, and sure in the heck, Joe had already done it. And like I said in the video, I didn't want to cover what he's done. That's just not right to do that. I believe in leaving somebody else's finds alone. Let them get the credit for it. That's why I said, guys, jump over there and see it. Put the link in there in my description so people can have a look at it as well. He did a great job on it. So, you know, and other people have done it too, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. Just looked like, you know, some people just overdo it. And it just looks like a big mess as opposed to just showing the actual ground and what look like structures. And to me, without a doubt, in fact, I can show you this now. I think I've got right here, that's the original, of course. And then, of course, we have the enhanced. And this time I put like a bluish yellow filter over it so we can have a look. But look at the difference, how they washed this out and sanitized it. Look, I mean, you can see the things, but my God, it's not very big, so it starts to fall apart. And, of course, again, it's sanitized, so you really can't see much of anything. But these alone are just pretty interesting just in themselves. You don't even have to look at the rest of the photo. These alone are just very interesting, right? Mimi actually said the YouTube algorithm is strange. No, it's trash, actually. And it's to stifle any channel that's like this. Oh, no, let's not. It's, you know, conspiracy. There's nothing conspiracy about facts. These are in the photo. These are not being put there. They're actually there. And I've shown the difference where we had those other 4 or 5 things lined up in a row. They're there. You can see them. They're just not very well there. They're being overlaid with, you know, like I said, like a centering, you know, to try to go over the whole thing and basically sanitize it. So, you know, make it super bright, you can't see anything through it, and it can be done. But it's there. I mean, if you look at really carefully, with like take your magnifier, even if you got the little one here, it's got the smaller one there, and just go over these things. It's not just what I'm pointing out. There's so much more in there. It's crazy just how much is in this photo. I'm just showing the things that are the biggest things that are showing up, but there's a lot more. Let me do this so other people can see these too. Let me get my mug out of there. And we'll go in a little bit more. Thing in the lower right here, or well, just to the right of these. Got on the upper right here, looks like some weird tower right here. Can't get it in the middle because that's the edge of the photo. I mean, you know, to me, I'm looking at these things. Wait a minute. First of all, nature doesn't do that. And we've got, let me just go back here a little bit. And I'll just show you the right here. And you look at these, what's in these circles, and no way is this natural in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, I know people who use telescopes. You're not going to see the photos like this. No way. Not that clear. You know, because basically you have the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, or the LRO, camera. It's literally 75 feet off the lunar surface. You're not going to get any better than that. You're just not. Now, the problem is you're going to deal with the censoring and, you know, the sanitizing of these photos. There you go, Ricardo. I thought about doing that. Chris, put out some cute kitten videos and your channel ratings will go back up. No doubt, huh? That's not even a joke. That's the sad part about it. I could do that and probably like, oh wow, I got like 40,000 hits all of a sudden. Get me to think there, Ricardo. Renee V said, yeah, especially this part, Chris, is really so obvious. Alien tech, or is it us? Exactly. I can put my log back in there now. Exactly. And I think, you know, when you see that, you go, is it us or is it them? Either way, that would be very interesting to, well, I don't know if you guys would want to go there, but I'd say I'd go there. Now, if they said, well, there's no guarantee that you'll come back, either something's going to eat you or you're just not going to make it back, I'd just go, you know what, it'd be worth it to see it. And I'd be like, okay, do I have at least a day to go through there and see everything there is to see, like around the moon? Can I at least travel a couple of days around and, you know, and then whatever happens, happens. Of course, we don't want to die, you know, but it would be pretty interesting. Diamond Dog's in there. What's going on there, Diamond Dog? Oh, there you are, Julia. I thought I saw you pop in there. Said, you are very welcome. Well, thank you for doing, helping us out here and doing the work there. We appreciate it. And we're going to pass it along. Like I said, any best quality you have, send it over, and we're going to go ahead and just rip them apart there, right? And also, I can't take all the credit because Julia also does some enhancements on hers. And I'm almost positive I have that as well because you sent it in one of the emails. So we're going to show that as well. So that'll be coming up. And just, you know, here's the thing. I don't care who you are, what gender you are. I could give a rat's crack. Here's the thing. If you're literally curious about what's going on, then you should dive into it. You know, because I promise you it's not a dead end. There's just so much to see. Whether it's Moon, Mars, anything else in our solar system, doesn't matter. The technology that we're coming out with, you name it, right? So really, really cool. So yeah, I'm just thankful there's a whole bunch of people in on this where they want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. And many of you have started to do, have asked me about, you know, hey Chris, what Photoshop do you use, which is CS6 Pro. You can get the older, you know, Photoshops. Some of the older ones won't have the features mine do, but you can still get the newest ones you can that are free. Or GIMP, any of that sort will work. So, and there's a lot of other, you know, photo enhancing software out there you guys can check out. But I love the idea of people going, no, I really want to check this out. That is awesome. That's one of the payoffs of this channel. More and more people want to know. And that's what basically is going on. That's what makes it all worth it for me, you know. Oh, hate when this thing jumps like this. Custom Tailored One, what's happening? How you been? Said the moon is teeming with alien life. Well, even at the very least, right? It has been. And that's all we need to know. Now, like you said, is there more life there? Could very well be. And it could be under the lunar surface, right? Well, it's like, you know, you said the moon is a hotspot, Mimi. Well, I mean, if you think about it, we want to make it a hotspot now, too, because we want to use it as a jump-off point to get to Mars. So it makes absolute sense, right? You know, we want to do that and, you know, just get to the moon, build a base there, make our own fuel, and use that as a jumping off point because it makes perfect sense. If you can make the fuel there, first of all, you got a structure and a way to make the fuel. You then make the fuel, put it into the craft, a reusable rocket like SpaceX has, Elon, and you're going to take off from there. How much fuel do you think you're going to expend? Hardly anything, because barely any gravitational pull. So you literally hardly use any fuel. You take off and you come back and you go back there. You have to make a big base because there's going to be military there, regular crew members, you name it, maintenance, whatever. It's going to have to be pretty darn large. And I know there was talks about using some of the old lava tubes from the moon to maybe put structures in. I'm not so sure that's a great idea in case it caves in, but I'm sure they know how thick it is, and I'm sure they'll reinforce it, do whatever they had to do. But it'll be interesting. The future's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Mimi said, Chris, imagine what we could find on the dark side of the moon, or the other side of the moon. Yeah, I mean, we've done videos on that. There's actually videos about that. And I believe there's more structures over there on the other side of the moon than there is the one facing on the side. Well, when I say side, it makes it sound like it's a cube. Or the area that's facing us. And there's so much more to see, man. It's crazy. But I'm wondering, and maybe you guys have an idea, would these structures be like the size of our structures, or would they be, do you believe that let's say they're not us, and they were other occupants on the moon at some point, thousands or millions of years ago, do you believe they're the same size as us, or do you believe they're larger or smaller? If you think about it, that can make all the difference in why a lot of times people can't see these structures, through a telescope or whatever. To see them in that condition or see them that small, it takes quite a bit to be able to do that. So I'm just kind of curious what you guys think about the size of the occupants, meaning is it, or the people who have lived there, larger than us, smaller than us? What do you guys think? Peter Petrelli, you said your question was, Chris, what do you think? Are we looking at a dead planet, or life exists on Mars? I believe life does. Not only organics, but I think there is still life on that planet. And I mean civilized life. Will we ever find it? You can bet they're going to, because we're only in a small area, right? We got the rover, we got two rovers just kind of looking around, and we have landers just, obviously in stationary. But they're not going to allow themselves to be seen if they are still alive on that planet. Now, what I mean by there's still life there is I believe at least 100% organics, obviously micro, macro, organics, could be trees, shrubs, whatever it may be. And I also believe, through some of the photos I've seen, there's actually flying insects and things of that sort flying around on the planet. Can I vet that? No. It's pure speculation, but I'm just judging and going by the photos. In my opinion, that's what's happening. That's what's going on. So we at least know there's at least organics, and I don't know when they're ever going to get to this and say, oh, yeah, we finally found microbial life. Well, at least announce it, but we all know that was back in the 70s. They knew that. And of course, there's scientists that are still arguing that point to this point in time. So I don't think, they're there for that reason. I think they're looking for reasons or ways to refuel like they're doing on the moon, and so they're doing that, right? They've already changed carbon to oxygen already. There's an oxygen generator. They're already changed that. They figured out how they can do that. So you figure a lot larger version, you can literally strap it to a building, kind of like a heat pump or an air conditioner, and just put it to the side of the building, sucks out the carbon from outside and makes oxygen, puts it inside. So they can make a smaller version. They definitely can make a larger version. So again, future's looking pretty bright. Looking pretty cool. Oops, thing just jumped on me again. Yeah, Julie, I agree. You said, as evidenced by the equipment Sarah and I have found, that must be massive. Yeah, like the cranes, all kinds of stuff that look like obvious, mining. I've found things, too, that look like mining object. What? It wouldn't surprise me, though. Let's suppose this moon was occupied thousands of millions of years ago, and it doesn't even have to be that long ago. If you think about it, go back to, what was it 1600s, maybe 1500s? I'm trying to remember how far back a real good telescope, I'm not talking about like, a couple fat pieces of glass in between. I'm talking about a decent telescope where they could see really good details on the moon. So even if you go back to that time, if you just, hell, it only has to be a couple hundred years ago. and you would never know it's on that moon. You'd never know it because you cannot look at it other than that going, oh, wow. You never see like a little light coming off of it. It's too small. So you couldn't see with the naked eye, right? So my thing is, it could have been a couple hundred years ago. They could still be there. We don't know. We have no idea. Now, there has been videos where people around the world have looked at the moon and said, well, wait a minute, you can see, when you can actually see it, they actually see like a UFO coming out of like a crater. So are the structures in craters, tightly around craters? I don't know. But clearly there's something still there. What's going on, Mr. James Gregan? He said, hi, Chris, and everyone tonight. What's happening, James? What's going on there, Glenn Marsh? He said, hi, fellow Martians from Cape Breton. Just got out of work. Hope I didn't miss too much. No, we're just going over this moon video that I had done. And I took this, I put a couple other filters on here and basically circle these things so people could see these. So we're just kind of talking about that right now. I love it when this thing jumps on me like this. What's going on there, Equalizer? Good to see you in here. Yeah, exactly, Equalizer, yeah. They already have oxygen-making equipment on submarines, pretty much. Yeah, Noodles, I was watching the very same thing. He said, I spent last weekend on the Mars Society channel live chat debating the advantage of using various construction and energy methods. I was watching the very same thing. Yep. Yep. Really interesting. Ricardo, you said the moon has been occupied for many, many moons. Glenn, you said rushed home to get to this. Loved it. Love it. Well, as long as you didn't break any land speed records or anything, didn't get arrested, you're good. Alan Keene, you said, hey, Chris, legend himself. Where? Oh, thought somebody walked in behind me. Mimi said, I wonder if they let us mine the moon. I don't know. You know, that same question could be applied to our rovers and landers on Mars if they're there, if there's still life, civilized life on Mars or the moon. Why would they allow our rovers to kind of walk around and drive around and land there and everything else? Because if you think about it, it's like, what would happen if something like that landed on Earth today because it wanted to check out, you know, what's going on Earth? Would we allow it to keep rolling, or would we kill it off, capture it and kill it off, or dissect it, call it, do whatever we want with it? I don't think we'd allow it to just roam Earth. I think we'd, unless of course it was able to protect itself and you couldn't get anywhere near it. So either the Martians are this big, inches big, and that thing is like a rolling monster to them, and they're totally defenseless against it, or, you know, they're about the size of us and they're hiding underground, or they just flat out don't exist anymore. So there's many options, and that's only 3, right? James Gregan, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, Chris, great videos from you again this week. Yeah, again, I tried to get up the 3rd one. For some reason, I just couldn't do it. And that's fine, because we'll knock some more out. It's not a big deal. You know, try to get it, because I got at least 4 coming up. And I'm going to try, there's actually about 5 or 6. I'm trying to kind of figure out which ones I want to do first and just get them done, you know. So it's getting there. Bex, you said, love Crow 777 radio. I don't know. Has he changed his mind? I know he's just doing like, you know, just audio type thing. It's just doing, you know, kind of, it's like you're saying, like a radio type thing. Is he still in the same kick about the moon just being a hologram, or has he changed his tune about that? Because that's where I just went, I'm done with him. He was doing great, had plenty of, you know, moon footage about little, you know, you can see what looked like spacecraft and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, he switched. Everything's a hologram now, nothing's real. Has he changed that tune, or is he still on the same kick about that? I don't know why, Leslie Ann, I don't know why you're, what do you call it? Your comment was actually basically hidden, so I just made sure that didn't happen. I just put it back on. I'm not sure why I did that. Let me see. Trying to get to everybody's comments and questions, and every now and then I'll come down, all of a sudden, the thing takes off. You don't know where the heck it went. Daniel Webster, what's going on? He said, yeah, Chris, I appreciate the work that you're doing. That's why I liked the video before I even looked at it, because I pretty much know I'm going to love it. Well, the thing is, too, it's like, you know, it's like me. If I'm like, you know, let's say it's got to do with like drag racing, anything to do with science, so on and so forth, because there's a science to drag racing too, believe it or not. But anything that interests you, you're like, yeah, you're already on it because you know. It's like me. There's other channels that I follow that I know I'm going to like right off the bat because I know it's the content I love to see. And this is the reason why, you know, Julia's the one that came up with the idea about having a Antarctica channel. So we have that separate. And I wanted to use the Lunar Anomalies and Beyond channel, have that one strictly all moon. So if somebody goes, well, I'm going through this guy's channel, but I'm trying to find more moon stuff. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. It's all on one channel. And even though I posted it here, I also posted it there. So like I said, in the event that this channel goes down, at least we have the other ones that are still there. And worst case scenario, yeah, we'll start posting up on, I'm actually forgetting the name of it. I haven't been on it so long. But we have an alternative site too that we go on as well. And let me see something too. Oh. At first I thought this thing, it's not buffering on your end, right guys? At first I thought it must be the way I looked at it. It kind of looked like it was buffering or something, but it's not. All right. Let's do that. Do that. Okay. Robert Morgan, what's happening? I'm still in Twitter jail. That's not good. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Post something on Facebook. Oh, it's against their rules. Whatever happened to free speech? Now, again, I can understand real weird over the line of fringe. I get that. It's a little far out there. But, I mean, simple stuff that you post. Again, whatever happened to free speech? And it's happening more and more. I've watched a congressman ripping one of the CEOs from, besides Zuckerberg, for Facebook, and they were just like, have you checked into this? Have you done this? No, sir, I haven't. Why haven't you? I mean, they're literally jumping their crap now because they're swaying people as far as voting. They're filtering out certain things so you can't be swayed another way. It's BS. I hope the future changes because it's going to get worse and worse as the time goes by. Renee, you said cool shirt. What do you guys think about that? Pretty sweet, right? Now I got to get an updated shirt. You know why? Because this one here just has the Sojourner, Spirit, Opportunity, and Curiosity. Now I have to get one that has Perseverance, as well as a helicopter. But this is a Haynes from the Haynes book, mechanical, books, which is cool. So, yeah, my daughter got me this really cool shirt. I was like, oh, damn, that's pretty sweet. Kev Mack, what? Hey, Chris, I was wondering, does Michelin tires or Valvoline oil use ads on the sides of any rovers? Not that I know of, but you never can tell, right? That would be pretty funny. Marco Besta, you said, how can I send you stuff? Email address? Yeah, marsanomalies@aol.com. Pretty simple. I decided to use the older stuff, just stick with it. It's just easy to remember. Cameron, what's happening? Say, hey, Chris, I think we have been on the moon since they ended the space program. I do too. Gabriel Akari, you said moon, hollow? I don't know about hollow, but it's kind of like here on Earth. People say hollow Earth. Now, although they had, let the section of the rocket hit the moon, and of course it rang out because they had basically, they were testing for any moonquakes, and when they slammed that rocket into the lunar surface, it rang for X amount of time, so they're thinking it's hollow. Now, is it possible that it was actually off of, like, where that crash landed? Is it possible that it's just a hollow cavern? Because there is a lot of lava tubes there. So it's kind of like here on Earth. We have a lot of giant caves that were either made by natural processes or through lava tubes. So is it hollow? It could very well be. I know people have talked about that where it's just a skin, basically. Even I said that, where I don't care how large or small a crater is, they always seem to be almost the same depth. Now the walls seem to be wider, but they almost seem like the same depth. Like there's a skin, and like somebody just put these like on there to make them look like craters on this. Like picture a nice smooth sphere, and then they just stuck these craters on top of it, and made it look like, and just blended it in and stuck it all to the surface. It's what it looks like. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's what it looks like, right? So is it possible? Judging by what's been going on and how much the public has been in the dark for X amount of years, it would not surprise me if it was. It really wouldn't. Now, is it? I don't know. But you can bet there's at least caverns underneath the lunar surface, and there could be large cities in it. It's kind of like, I forget which one it was. There was a large cavern and cave system, and I forget where it was, and there's many actually, that you could put the state of Rhode Island in, or larger states inside them. That's pretty large, and if you can get an alien city in there, how do we know these UFOs ain't coming straight out of the Earth or right from the moon? And this is the reason why they see them coming and going every now and then. I don't know. Interesting to say the least. Yeah, Equalizer, he said, this is why I think they are very small, and like you said, the landers would be like War of the Worlds to them. Yeah, they'd be, again, if they're very small, what are they going to do to our equipment? I mean, absolutely nothing. So maybe that's why we're there, and they say, they're not going to do us any harm, so why do we care? They pretty much killed themselves off anyway with the destruction that's there, or whoever tried to kill them off, so we can just go there and do whatever the heck we want, and just look at their technology, whatever they had. I personally don't think that that's small. I think they're, at least half the size of an average person or our size. Now, there's no way to vet that, but, it'd be interesting to find out. It'd be, like I said before, I'd love to have, somehow somebody just went berserk one day, they disgruntled worker and said, I'm just going to send one of these guys, doesn't matter who it is, a real photo of Mars and show them the real deal. It's like, boo, booyah, that's what I want to see. Oh, Phil, see, you talking about Crow? He said he still thinks things in space are luminaries. Yeah, see, I don't go with that. I think that's crazy. It's like if you can land on it, clearly the object is there. It's as simple as that. I just don't believe in that stuff. He just went off the deep end with that stuff. What's going on there, Mr. George Mayer? Good to see you in there. He said, if you have seen Alien Hunter's channel, you can see alien life in the images of the moon. They seem to look like humanoid with strange creatures also, with a question mark. I've said this many a times. I don't really see faces and stuff. Now, there's very small occasions it seems like you can actually see that, but very rare do I ever see anything that looks like a humanoid or anything like that. I'm not saying that they don't exist, or they're not in the photos. I'm just more, I guess my mind's just more wired to see mechanical and stuff like that. And I'm going to show you my favorite photo, and many of you guys have seen this. This is basically for the newcomers, where when you see it, you just go, wow, that's interesting. And then you bring up the lines and just bring it out darker, and they pop. And you don't even have to do that, and it's right there in your face, right? So it's one of my favorite ones from Opportunity Rover. Yeah, Ricardo, yeah. If you understand that the entirety of the existence is of a holographic, nature, then sure, the moon is a hologram, but so are you. Yep. Josh Dees, what's going on? He said, we should start a service station for Mars rovers. Elon can help us set it up, and we can look around. Not a bad idea. Hell yeah. I'm going to jump all the way down to the bottom because this thing somehow keeps jumping on me anyway. So if I missed anybody's question or anything, let me know. Just trying to go back here a little bit. Arts and Crabs, good to see you in there. He said, hello all, can't type as I am cooking while listening right now, but I'm sending you all love and sorry I'm late. You're fine. Much love to you as well. I'm glad you're here. I hope you, just don't tell me what you're making because I'm going to get hungry and I'm going to have to invite myself over there. Jack Long said, what's up? What's up? What's going on, Jack? Well, again, Jack, I see what you said here, and I was trying to go back up a little so I didn't miss too many people. So, you said they crashed the ascent stage of the 4 Apollo missions into 4 different spots, and all places on the moon rang like a bell. For hours, it's hollow, and a natural satellite cannot be hollow. Fact. I agree with you, but I disagree with you. Like I said, is it possible that all those landing sites that they've been to, and of course they get the seismograph there, that they knew it was hollow before they even did it? Maybe, because understand, they have hit the moon with a ground-penetrating radar before, which looked like it was a city under there. It went like 33 to 50 feet below the lunar surface, and I've done a video on that. I think it was radar images, show great details on the moon or something like that, along them lines. And is it possible they knew those particular areas were, basically like a lava tube, or they were hollow in those areas? I'm not so sure the whole moon is. Now, is it out of the question? No, of course not. You have to believe if it is obviously, I'm going to use the term man-made or intelligently made, then chances are it may be just a planet within our moon. I mean, in other words, a whole city type thing. I don't know. But I thought it was interesting when they said that it actually was, it rang out like that. And I said, interesting. And of course, they found all kinds of titanium, different hard metals there. So is it possible that it has a real tough outer skin and what's inside is what's different? Meaning maybe it's designed not to be peered into, like from a radar or any of that, and that's why we can't tell. Or they have done that and they know what's inside. I know they said they tried to take a core sample up there, and it was like, they just couldn't, they were just trying to do everything they could to dig into this thing and try to turn it. And they really couldn't get a core sample out of the ground. Peter Petrelli said something was discovered of great significance. Totally agree with you. Just going back, Julie, what you said, talking to Goatheart. Man, you give me a big head here. I'm not going to be able to hold up any more than I am. You're talking about the different YouTubers, and my answer was to all of them, if you aren't Chris Maroney, you aren't touching my work. Yeah, I mean, you know, I have great respect for you, Julie, as well as Sarah. You know that. And that's, you know, it's either going to be right or it's not. I'm not doing it, period. Because the idea is to bring out every bit of, you know, detail in these photos so we can show the public what's really there. And so I totally believe, you know, either do it right or don't do it at all. And so, you know, I was glad I was given the opportunity because I wanted to pass this along anyway. Because it's not just out in space. It's not just the moon. It's not just Mars. It's not just all the other moons and planets in our solar system. It's right here on Earth. That's where it all starts from. Think about it. Well, like I said, if they knew about it back in the day, and this is long before they peered at the moon, then they decided one day, hey, let's look at the moon, see if there's anything out there. Because clearly, if there's something on our own planet that's not ours, where would you look next? Closest satellite. So you look over to the moon and go, oh, hold on, this stuff doesn't look natural. Clearly, it's not lunar surface. Okay, there's structures there. And if you go there and it's not ours, who put it there? How long ago? Who was it? Why did they leave it behind? I mean, the list goes on, right? So, okay, what other, if it's not ours, again, it wasn't ours on the Earth, wasn't on the moon, what about our nearest planets? Let's check those out. And just because you have planets closer to the sun doesn't mean there couldn't be structures on there too. Just because you as a living body, could not live on those planets doesn't mean you can't live in a shelter and have your own atmospherics, right? So it starts here, worked its way out, and we're still doing it. And we're still probably scavenging and grabbing all this equipment and learning everything we can about it. And this is the reason why I believe at times we're jumping by leaps and bounds in technology. Greg McDonald said, not hollow, but maybe honeycombed. Well, that's what I was thinking, sporadic areas of the moon, right? Let me see. Oops. Okay. We do that. Let's see here. All right. It's kind of awkward going like this, but seen a couple of people asking for my email. There you go, right there. Let me bring this back up this way. The G's views, you said pygmies maybe? And here, listen, I mean, you know, the way they're talking, I think you're talking about either the moon or Mars, because you're talking about were the, you know, people that live there, you know, whatever they may be. Call them aliens is kind of weird, but they'd be alien to this world. Is it possible they are really small or very large? I don't know, you know. Odds and Craft says, hit that thumbs up. Oh. Yeah, we talked about this about, you know, the Apollo missions where they had 18 and 20. Now, 18, they were going to try for that. They no doubt were going to try for that. But again, it was kind of a lame excuse. One of the astronauts said, oh, no, you know, there's a chance, you know, astronauts can get hurt. So the last 7, you know, I mean, come on. You know, it's not like they went up without any kind of difficulty, but, you know, the Apollo 10 mission was nothing more than orbiting around the moon, and I'm sure they took a ton of pictures then. And then, of course, the rest were actually missions. Now, I'm saying to myself, okay, suddenly you're worried about that? I don't think that's why I don't believe that they stopped. And of course, there's many other reasons too, but I don't believe that they stopped. Daniel Webster, you said, yes, I would like some proof, but some of the old school military men said that we actually landed on the moon in 1961. I'm not sure I believe this, but they claim they landed on Mars in 1960. That's what I keep hearing. There's no way to vet it. There's no way to know, unless, of course, you have a real good insider where they say, listen, I can give you the skinny on this, and let you know what's going on. So it's hard to tell. Is it possible? Sure. Not, again, and I would have never said that, 30 years ago. I would have said that's bull. But how many people were actually scrutinized all of these missions and doing all of these things? Of course, there wasn't many missions, just the moon. And then, of course, we had a couple satellites and other orbiters going out and all this other stuff, out of the solar system and so on and so forth, exosolar system. But we didn't have any real missions. Of course, we had the Viking in 75, 76. And then, of course, we had the, let's see. Yeah, we had the Sojourner in 97. I was trying to think if there's anything in between there. But they might have had orbiters, which went up there, too. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, rovers. So you had the Sojourner in 97. And then, of course, you had, like I said, Opportunity and Spirit in 2004. Then you had in 2012, you had Curiosity. Now, 2020, you've had Perseverance as well as the Ingenuity helicopter. So, it's just a question of time. They keep going there. For what reason? You're in the equatorial region, or right around there. That's the best place to find any kind of life on any planet, because chances are it was hotter and probably had water there, which they know that they are in those basins. They know for a fact there was water there. Again, what are we trying to find? We're trying to reestablish that we found microbial life back in 75, 76, or what's the deal? Or it's just nothing more than recon missions and we're just checking out technology that was left behind. Or basically, not left behind, but pretty much was terminated. Life was terminated on the planet, both atmospheric as well as civilized life. So, I don't know. It's probably everything, all of the above. Jack Long, your question was, you think they snuck 2 Saturn V rockets to the moon without America knowing? No, but what if, and I've said this, I don't know if you're new to the channel, but what if, if you know your space well, we built the International Space Station with the actual shuttles. What if, we had something similar to that back in the day? Like if you look at Kakistan, we have a couple of these shuttles actually rotting away, doing absolutely nothing. Is it possible? Keep this in mind, the SR-71 was designed, or was being designed, in the late 1940s and was built in the 1950s, tested, and wasn't declassified until the late 80s, early 90s, okay? 50s, keep that in mind. So is it possible, and this is all speculation, is it possible that you can simply retrofit something like the SR-71? Or something that looks like one of our shuttles? You got the bay doors already, retrofit rockets with different propulsion or whatever, with new technology, something they were building back then. Take off, fly right to the moon. It doesn't take much to lift off the moon, right? We know that. You can literally land there, build it, just bring parts there, build it. Doesn't have to be super huge. Something small, who knows? Or something along the lines of the SR-71, who's going to hear it? Who's going to see it at night? Who's going to see it on radar? It's almost invisible to the radar. So you can come and go as you please. Nobody's going to be none the wiser. You know what I mean? You can easily retrofit something like that, and they had more than one of those. Now, again, pure speculation. Could they have built, and so the question is, could they have built something along them lines to be able to do the same thing? You can come and go as you please. Nobody be none the wiser. You know? Hey, MJ420, it's been a long time. Good to see you in there. Say hi, Chris. Hope all is well. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing good. I don't know when's the last time you've been in there, unless you snuck in there, because you know how this thing will jump on me here. So I don't know if you were in the last few times or whatever, but seems to me it's been a while. Peter Petrelli said, hey, Chris, when Buzz Aldrin made reference to a monolith on some moon in our solar system, what do you think he was talking about? Oh, he was on about? He's basically talking about, I'm trying to remember if it was Phobos. It might have been, I think it's Phobos, that has a monolith on it. So it's one of the Martian moons. And there's people have posted that. It looks like a giant, like, rectangular monolith sticking right out of the moon itself. Now, what that is, I can't imagine that's natural. But I guess it could be. It could be 50-50 either way. But I find it interesting. You know, and he says, wait until they see that. And they're going to say, who the heck put that there? Remember that when he said that? So it was pretty cool. Let's see. Leslie, I don't know if you were just throwing this out there or you were talking to somebody else, but you said, no, there would not, but Mars is protected by others who do not like our military or way we war. Well, not me, I'm for peace. Seen it too much war in this world. Oh yeah, I totally agree. And this is the reason why I disagree with everybody worked up about Elizondo talking about, you know, they're in our private airspace and all this other stuff. Ooh, fear-mongering. To me, two things are going on. The military, it's either ours, this tic-tac, these new UFOs, they're ours. Think about this. Let's suppose it's the United States. It's theirs. It could be any country in the world. Doesn't really matter. But let's suppose it's ours. We don't admit to it. Okay. Now all of a sudden you can just let it fly any way you want to. It can travel at X amount of speeds per second, right? So I can go over Japan, and Japan will say, yeah, we just seen it over our airspace. Now China, now Germany, now Russia, so on and so forth. Okay. Yeah, we've seen it over our airspace. Because you didn't admit to it, you can go anywhere you want to, and nobody can stop you because you're just too quick for any aircraft out there. You maneuver like nothing else on this planet. So you're golden. You are basically the shit. Now, if it is alien, I don't believe for a moment that they're evil. I don't believe that, and I'll tell you why, and I've said this before. It's kind of like, and I've said this before, well, I'll just say it this way. If you're going to kill off a population, you wouldn't wait till they got stronger, technologically advanced. You'd basically kill them when they're at their weakest, or they basically can't protect themselves. So why would you wait this long to do that? When you hear people saying, oh, you don't understand, man, they were at these missile silos, they shut them down. That doesn't mean they're evil. Listen, if I was an evil alien or something like that, I would blow them up. I wouldn't stop them from working and kill everybody on that base and anybody around it. So it simply doesn't make any sense when you hear this fear-mongering crap going on. Oh, this is going on, you know, they're in our airspace. I get the idea of the airspace thing. If it is not ours, it makes you wonder why they're here. But if they're here, they haven't done anything to show that they're going to kill us off. The other thing is makes me think too, and I've said this before, what if they're from another planet and the atmosphere is not what they breathe? So they don't want it for themselves, unless they plan to terraform it somehow. They don't want it for themselves. They probably wouldn't be able to breathe in it. Who knows? Maybe they're from a planet they breathe more carbon. We couldn't do that, but doesn't mean other life forms couldn't. So, you know, we automatically judge it like, well, you couldn't live on that planet because it's too much carbon. That don't mean squat. that doesn't mean a thing. You could be half plant, which breathes in carbon. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that we make the assumption that it has to be just like ours. These structures anywhere else got to be just like ours. Why? These could be built totally different because, one, hardly any gravity, so you can make a structure miles high and never have to worry about it. So, you know, coming and go on the moon, be easy. Hardly any gravity again. Come and go as you please. Use hardly any fuel. You can fly around the lunar surface, go from one, from the bright side to the dark side, just fly around it. Hardly use any fuel at all. Be a perfect place to live if you wanted to get around quickly. It just makes sense. So I don't believe in all this fear-mongering crap and, oh, they're in our airspace and all this other crap. It just, it'd be one thing if they said, listen, we just found this out, that this craft was over this small town and basically incinerated it. I'd go, okay, here we go with Independence Day. I'd go, I get it. But we have no reason to believe that. Does anybody else? I just don't get it. I hear these people like they're just pumping this up like this, like it's, oh my God, it's, they're in our airspace. That I can understand. I get it. Yeah, Rock Hits, you're right about that. He said it's man that's the threat. Yeah, pretty much. Leslie Ann, you said ETs are not evil. They saved my life when I was 3. And there are many species, and I don't like the warmongering, LOL. They live with us, for half a millions of years. They are not grays, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that they are either. Now, I'm not saying they can't be aliens that are like that, right? But like I just said, Leslie Ann, I don't believe for a moment they are. Again, it's kind of like, and I'll use this kind of analogy. If any of us here are an MMA fighter, say that real quick, and you're in the octagon, you got an opponent, it's a real strong adversary, throwing spinning back kicks, boom, 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 and somehow you just hit him just perfect, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's all dazed and everything. Do you stop and let him get strong again and get out of the dizziness and then come back at you? Or do you literally take him down and ground and pound him? Yeah, you're going to jump him really quickly because now he's at his weakest. Why would you wait for a civilization to get stronger and more technologically advanced before you kill them off? It simply doesn't make sense. And if these aliens are able to come here, they've been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So they know that we're here. They're aware that we're here. And they're probably seeing our evolution, both in, just our physical as well as technological. So that they've been looking over. If anything, they're saying, guys, stop with the wars. Stop. This is the reason why we're shutting down your missile silos. This is the reason why we're doing this, and we're flying around your airspace to let you know, hey, we're here. So maybe they're saying, and I think I've discussed this before, where they're going, hey, listen, we'd love to welcome you guys into the galactic neighborhood, but not at this point. You guys are just too barbaric. We're just not going to let that happen. So unless we start to get our crap together and learn to live with each other and become an actual human race, instead of segregated and fighting and, I want more of gold and I want more of this, I want the lithium, it just doesn't make any sense. And this division is not going to get us anywhere. We're never, ever going to become a planet with peace. And they're probably noticing it. This planet's useless. So that's just the way I look at it. I'm sure you guys have different views. Go ahead and drop it down here. I'd love to hear it. Phil C., thank you very much for your support, sir. I greatly appreciate it. He said, thanks for opening everyone's eyes. Got to go. See you next time. All right, Phil, good to have you here. And again, I appreciate the support. Have a good weekend now, right? So, yeah, what do you guys believe? That is really going on with these aliens. Who is it? The one who's done that now? Who's that pop singer I was just talking about not long ago? She's talking about UFOs now and all this other stuff. And now she says it's basically almost racist to call aliens aliens. Say, where does it stop? Where does it stop? They are alien to this world, so we call them aliens. It's pretty simplistic. It simply doesn't make sense. If it's alien to our world, we're going to call them aliens. It's not like it's a derogatory statement towards them. I just think it's crazy how these people, I don't know. Now it's against the rules. Don't call them aliens. Yeah, Mimi, he said they keep an eye on us, how we will behave in space, pretty much. Right now they're probably going, okay, they sent a couple landers, sent a couple of these, their people to the moon. Okay, they don't seem to be blowing up the moon other than dropping a couple parts of their spacecraft onto the moon. So they're trying to figure this out, okay? You know what I mean? And so they're probably watching everything that we're doing, but I promise you, bring that crap out into space, missiles, and try to war out in space, you might find them show themselves real quickly. And I don't mean like, I mean just to stop the actual warring, right? Not to actually annihilate. Thank you, Julia. Demi Lovato. I had her face on here where she was talking about how she's got a little special now on there, and she's now, it's like DeLong, right? You know, he was in a band, and come on. I mean, it's okay to be, you know, fascinated with the subject, and I believe she's seen UFOs as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But now, who was saying that? They said she's just trying to cash in because basically, I don't know if her singing career is over, but it's kind of slowed down, so now she's trying to figure another venue to make money. That means squat to me, but I just find it amusing now. Suddenly, these people are like aficionados in UFOs. But they do have help with other people, don't get me wrong. But, I don't know. It's like everybody's jumping in the ring, so to speak, you know? Noodles. Silly Demi. Jersey Jeeper, what's going on? He said, don't blow up the moon. No, not a good thing. Now let me, the people who haven't seen this, I'll show you the one, and I've showed you this picture many a times. This is the one on Mars, about that panorama with the Opportunity rover, and what I thought was interesting. Now, I don't know how many of the newcomers are in here, so, you know, the regular subs, try not to answer this, or if you can if you want, just whatever comes to mind, tell me what you see, and then we'll go from there. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. I've showed this many a time, so the people who are here already, they're going to know. Hold on. I don't know why they're blanking this out. Oh, you're talking to Julia Mars in the second Genesis. I've had 3 separate Facebook accounts at different times, and they shut me down 3 times. I tried getting answers why, and they didn't answer me. So F them. You're not the first one it's ever happened to, man. Even David from Mars X3D, same thing. This is the reason why he got frustrated, threw his hands up and said, I'm out. And now he's decided to stay there a little longer just for conversational purposes so other people can drop their fines and stuff. But other than that, he's just like, he's totally disgusted. And it's the same thing here on these channels. This is the reason why it's like they're not advertising it. So therefore, it's stunning the growth of the channel, which is, this is the reason why I always say, guys, just go ahead and, you know, share it, you know, whatever on your, you know, whatever platforms you normally go to, because people need to see this stuff, right? All right. This is the photo I was talking about here. This is PIA, PIA 06701, and this is a TIFF image, and this is actually a 360 pan, and so you can actually see the wall of the crater here, right there, and the rest of this is actually wrapped around, but it just looks like it's longer. See how it looks like a wall, but it's actually wrapped around. The, you know, the Opportunity rover happened to go in, I think, 33 feet into this actual crater, and it was able to just look around. And I've looked over here, not a whole lot. And you can see, in fact, I'll get rid of my face here. This way here we can see this thing better. And I've looked and I've looked, can't see much until I went to a certain area. Bex, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. And I was going along, and I was just, okay. Really couldn't see much of anything, folks. I mean, I'm looking at these rocks. I'm looking at, I don't believe for a moment this is real down here. Look at that. That doesn't look like fake rocks. I don't know what does. This is kind of a weird outcropping. Look like a giant skull laying on its side right here. Not saying that's what it is. But this is what caught my eye. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out. And I got one with a yellow box, and then I get in real close. Now, I'm going to put this in the middle. Any of the newcomers or anybody can just tell me what they see. Right smack dab in the middle of the screen. And again, this is probably one of my favorite photos that proves there was a civilization on Mars. And it's just really interesting to me and kind of blew my mind. It took my mind, you know, a while to wrap itself around this photo. But this is not the very first photo I've ever looked at, but just probably one of the best ones out there. Leslie Ann, he said, they are not aliens to me. They are ETs. They want us to grow up, but why save us? They are watchers, and they can watch us and hope to show my pics on YouTube. My very strange pics not alien to me. Oh, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If you've had this kind of thing go on, meaning you either were visited, some were abducted. Now, when they say abducted, first thing people think of is, oh, my God, they were probed, they were ripped apart, and, you know, whatever. That's not necessarily the case. And some of them were just like, they just went there, they seen him, they kind of like just looked at him and then talked to him telepathically, and then they were just released. They just found themselves awake, hours later, you know. Cameron said, have a good weekend, Chris. Got to eat dinner with the family and have a good weekend. You do the same, Cameron. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. Douglas D. He said, Mars used to be and may still be inhabited, but got wiped out, in my opinion. Well, and that's what a lot of consensus is that there may or not be life on that planet right now. I believe there's at least organics and maybe flying insects and things of that sort. People or, just people on the planet, or aliens, call them what you want, humans, beings, call them beings, could possibly be on Mars. And that's a fact. I'm not even familiar with that, Noodles. You said, let's critique the new uplifting visitors from Jennifer Fergala channel. I'm almost positive I've heard of it, but maybe I'm just not recognizing the name. If you got a link, go ahead and drop it, and we'll check it out. So everybody can just check this thing out, right? Mimi, you said, if we learn how to behave, they might make contact. Well, I believe they already have, but, you know, they're still going, let's say to the world leaders, can you do something with the people on this planet? And it's tough to try to just say, everybody calm down. Just do right. It's almost impossible. It really is. It's almost like you got to start from scratch, right? Uncle Punky 555 says, is that a disc bottom left corner? Let me see. Well, no, it looks like something flat and smooth. I think you're talking about it right here. Right there. Does anybody else see this other object directly in the middle of the screen? And if you do, what do you believe it is? Leslie Ann says, no, NASA and military was told to go. We all knew that in the military. Truth Watch my YouTube. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Let me see something here. Well, I won't be able to do that. Let me see. Can you drop the link, Leslie Ann, to your... I could probably try to find it. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, I got it right here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. You guys can check out our channel. I guess you're doing just basically talking in this, which is cool. 17 minutes long, 38, 49 minutes. Okay, cool. Here is Leslie Ann's channel, so you guys can check it out. Let me get rid of this first so I can get back down to here. There you go. Right there. Just drop the link. I'll have to check it out, Leslie Ann. I didn't know you had your own few videos there. I didn't know that. Bex, thank you again for your support. I do appreciate you. Said, love your channel. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Turkler, and you said, why spend billions of dollars spending to Mars? Because there's something to be gained by it. It's as simple as that. Oop, let me see something here. Somebody's just writing to me here. Levi, you just, I don't know if you're still on the channel and you just hit me up on social media. You said, I have another suggestion if you don't mind. Richard Hoagland, reach out. He's got original untouched photos, I bet. Now, I've been on his actual talk show. You know, really, really cool guy. I was on there with Will from What's Up in the Sky 37. He was actually co-host to him. Really interesting. We had a really good, I think it was like 2 or 3 nights in a row we had done this, because his site was actually messed around with while we were showing these photos and the best photos we had. So it was pretty interesting. And I can actually post on his Facebook page too. So, so if they see anything of any value, then obviously they'll talk about it or whatever too. Goat High said, that is your favorite pick? Not much to see except some machinery and some... Really, you guys don't actually see that. I'll enhance a little bit and bring it out better. Let me see. Whoop. I hate it when this thing jumps like this. I'm interested to know why you said that, Jack. Jack Long, you said, we can't replicate Apollo today. Why do you think that is? Any specific reason? And Elaine, you said a car, a vehicle? First one that said it. Okay. I've already got one person that said something. And again, there's really no, Pete, I didn't know you jumped in there. Pete Vlogs, you said, well, gotta go. See you later, Chris. Again, awesome videos. I appreciate it, Pete. Have yourself a good weekend there, right? Yeah, Ricardo, you said object in the middle of the screen, sandpit? Well, just above that, on the outer edge of it. Yeah, Leslie, that's cool. You said, I'm just speaking, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, ammo, but you said, Chris, my stories and beliefs. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's awesome that you're doing that. More and more people should, come forward, whether it's, some kind of, whether it be abduction, good or bad, any relation to them, because I'm sure you're not the only one, and we know that, that's ever happened to. So you'll start having people come on there and say, oh, I have a related kind of story that you may be interested in, so on and so forth. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's awesome. Snaggletooth 1351, he says, looks like a V8 block, no headers, water pump off the front. Getting closer. Was it? Yeah, it was Phobos they were talking about, right, Jack? You're saying he was referring to Phobos. Massanissa, what's going on? He said, hi to you, Chris, and hello to everyone. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Douglas D said, what would be gained by going to Mars? Minerals? Nope, just technology, which is everything, right? All right, so this is not the only piece that's here. There's something here in the center. There's something here at the very top of the ridge, or just at the terminator of this so-called crater hill, or crater wall itself. There's actually some stuff right down here in the lower left corner of this. And you get this flat, smooth piece, which can be interpreted as a simple flat rock, which is cool. Let me see here. All right, so I think I know what you're getting at, Jack. You said they are benevolent, they are feeding on us physically, spiritually, emotionally. And you said something about, well, then I'm going to read, what do you call it? Snaggletooth 1351. You said, oh, that's a car. Okay, that's two people have said that. Phil Carson with daughters, Jessica and Kelsey Brown, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Let me see here. Glenn Marsh, you said, looks like two more cars at the top of the picture. Yeah. Here's the funny part, folks. You are not the first ones to say that. And I've said this before. My other job that I worked at, I brought this very same photo in. I put it on Polaroid film. Brought it in there, of course. I'm going to show you the photo that's enhanced. And all it is just darker and just brings out the lines better. And I showed it to him, this one in the middle. And I said, what do you think that is? And he's looking at it going, he started laughing. He's like, I said, what are you laughing at? He said, it's like he didn't want to answer. I said, listen, there's no right or wrong answer because we can't vet it no matter how you look at it, right? So he's like, I'll be honest with you. He said, it looks like some kind of weird little army Jeep or something. I said, that's what I thought when I first saw it. Now, is it nothing but mass pareidolia, or are they actually there? So you can see this is a pretty long distance away from this rover, although I don't think it's super long distance because you can see the rover's here. And the Opportunity and the Spirit, you tower over these things. They're not like the Curiosity or Perseverance, right? So you can picture yourself just standing here, towering over this thing. How big is this thing if you walk over there? Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. And there you go. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I see what look like vehicles. That's what I see. Now, again, is it mass delusion? Is it pareidolia? To me, no. There's too many people have seen this, and they come up with basically the same thing. So, you know, again, there's no way to say yes, these are, or no, they're not, because you can't go there and again check these things out, right? What's up, Kyle Harvey? Good to see you in this. You said, what's up? What's going on, brother? Good to see you in there. Thank you for your support as always. Good to have you on there. Jeff Gashed, you said, why are they hiding anything? Well, here's the thing. More than likely, because NASA and JPL and a lot of these space agencies are governed by, like we are, governed by our DOD, the Department of Defense. They are actually the puppeteers. They control what's being seen and what's not. Every now and then, though, they leave out stuff that they should not. You know, and to me, like I said, when I look at this, I see what looks like a vehicle sitting there. I look over here and I see another one, like almost all the way to the windows on this thing. You can literally see through the manipulation, you can see where this one ends, right here at the back of this one. It literally goes down into this whiter area. Now, people go, oh, come on. Vehicles on Mars, how silly. Is it? Is it? What if there was a civilization prior to ours on this planet? Long, you know, and let's say they're right where we are today, but back thousands of years ago, if it's even that many years ago. And then when we went there in 75, 76, we took a look around and we seen these things. Is it possible we got ideas how to build ours looking at theirs? Now, again, pure speculation here, folks. That doesn't mean that's true. All I'm saying is it a possibility? When I see these, I go, these look awfully like things we'd have here on Earth, guys. I don't know. Over here, looks like just a bunch of parts laying here. And you can see that. There's something actually right there I didn't mark off. And at one point, I actually did this whole smooth area. And right around here, looks like there's another vehicle laying in here too. And you can see these up here, these white blotches. Look at the way that shape of that thing goes up and down. I think there's an assortment of these things just laying all over this ridge. If you think about it, look at it. Now we can go back. Who's to say that these things weren't washed down at one point on the other side of this basically, I'm going to call it depression, crater, call it what you want. It wasn't washed down into this at one time. Because they even say, scientists even say, during its span of life, you know, when all of this went on, this catastrophic event, that there was like giant floods and everything else. So everything got washed around and thrown around and thrashed. How do we know this isn't the case? And it's almost like they wanted you to see it. Because look at it, it's like this smooth area. And I didn't think nothing else. I was like, what's with the smooth area? I'm looking at it, oh yeah. And then I said, what the heck is that? And then as I dock in this area, brought out the lines, and you can see that right here. Look at this line real close right here on this one here. You can actually see the outline, what looks like, if it is in fact a vehicle, you can see the line to the front windshield, if that's what it is. But you can see the line to it. I can see it pretty darn clear, going through this white airbrushing, or call it what you want. There you go. Get rid of the crap that's on top of it. Well, scrap heap challenge. There you go. Your Highness, there you go. Tesla car. Man, that's what he's been doing. He's actually had people up there all along. Let's see. Yeah, maybe as you said, it looks like a bigger car. Well, I'm guessing that one there is a little bit off in the background, the one with the red arrow. It's a little bit further back. And this one here is closer, that's why it appears bigger. But it just, if they are not vehicles of some sort, then they're uncanny looking things like we have here. It's uncanny. There's just no way. Snaggletooth, you said absolutely those are vehicles. That's what they look like to me. Now, are we all wrong? Again, is it all mass pareidolia? Rockhead, you said definitely a Jeep type vehicle. Snaggletooth, definitely a two-door. Yeah, it looks like you can see where the wheels are, or at least the front one, and then the back one's not there, it's buried. And it looks like you can actually see the frame of the, if it was a Jeep, it looks like the frame of it right there. It's crazy. Like I said, if it's not what we think it is, then they look awfully like what we have here on Earth. I see something here. Hold on, this thing jumped on me here. Wow, look at that. What's going on, stranger? What's going on there, Will? Good to see you in there. We were just talking about you earlier. Talking about, hold on. This thing just popped up in here again. Let me just see what this is. Where'd it go? Somebody was just talking about getting a hold of Richard Hoagland. I've been on the show with Will, which is basically like the co-pilot there. So what's been going on? Yeah, but you just said Chris and everyone has had everything covered. Yeah, but it's still always good to have good eyes and different minds on this stuff. Well, good to see you in there, man. It's been a long time. Hope you're doing good. Bombastic Busty said, been working on cars all my life. That's a vehicle. That's what they look like. I mean, there's just no way around it. In fact, I think I even shared this one time when I was on with Will. I'm almost positive I did. You stopped in when I saw the notification come up, about to take a good friend to dinner. Well, that's awesome. Hope it's something good. Oops. Don't know why they blocked that out or held it. Leslie Amber, you said, please contact me on my YouTube or Facebook, Julia, okay? Just in case she didn't see that. Oh, okay. He said, soon. Keep up the good work, brother. Well, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see you back in there, brother. It's been a long time. And it's like, you know, there's not enough channels that are, it's like people have fallen by the wayside. And it's not that, you know, I don't know if they just get, oh, I just don't want to keep doing this anymore or whatever. Because there's a couple of channels that kind of cropped up, rather, out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, nothing. So it's like, I'd like to see you back in there. There we go. Oops. Tamty girl, what's going on? He says, smash that like button. Let's see. Yeah, Goat Hot, you were just talking to Will. He said, nice to have you in here. Hope you're okay. Your channel brought me on the track a long time ago. And folks, I gave Will credit before because I said he's one of the ones, as well as, oh God, I'm not going to remember his name. I probably will in a moment, but he's from the UK. But these are the folks who are actually doing these videos, going through them, and then I noticed crazy things in these photos too. And I'm going, I don't know, should I actually make recordings? I watched Will, I said, how hard can this be? Let's just jump right on it. Let's just go both feet in and just see how it works out. And I started off, and you know, you start off slow, but then you get right into it. And Will was the first one to tell me, and he'll remember this, if he's still in there, that he told me once your channel blows up, watch all the trolls that come out. And he wasn't lying. He was not lying. But now you kind of laugh at him. It's kind of sad, you know. But yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. But he was one of the channels that got me started. So I actually owe him a great deal of thanks and you know, respect for what he was doing. John Schaub, what's going on, man? He said, Chris, that's big space is a roof and an entrance is bottom right. Okay, you're talking about down here. No, believe it or not, like I said, John, this was actually, I actually enhanced this area before, and there's another vehicle facing this way. I have to do this over again. Because when I enhanced it and brought up the lines that are in this and actually embedded in this, under this, you can see right here, see this right here in front of this object right here. Look at this right here. You can see half of rock or whatever that is. Right there, it's half covered. You can still see the line to it right there. So they literally took this whole area out for a reason, but then left these other pieces in here. I don't know how these people work, but again, it wasn't that noticeable. If you go back, they're really not that noticeable. The only reason why you see it now is because I pointed out. But if you're just looking through here, okay, rocks. Okay, rocks. You know, you just keep going, and the only reason why you notice it now and you can't unsee it is because I've showed it to you. But if you just kind of go in there, you would see that almost like a rock because it's bright like the rocks are. But as you keep going, you just go, I don't see anything. Until this area is what really caught my eye, so it's kind of like they gave it away purposely to show the people, and it's right there. Cartoon Mark says, hello, friends. What's going on there, Mark? Your Highness says Mars is more like Earth than they're telling us. We don't know. Listen, they could have had a civilization just like ours, and they were where they were at, where we are at right now. We don't know that. We just don't have a clue. We're just guessing, but I'm banking, well, not banking, but I'm going by what I'm seeing in these photos, based on what I'm seeing in these photos, in my opinion, that they were very similar, and maybe we got ideas from that civilization because we were actually there, you know, years ago. And we might have been there prior to, well, I shouldn't say that. We had flybys that, you know, both Viking and other craft that went flybys and orbited Mars, took probably really good photos back in the day. And I'm not talking about the very first ones, I'm talking about after that, where they probably seen these things on the ground and said, what the heck are those? Decided to go there, and finally years later, they decided to go in 1975, 1976 with the Viking land, and all they got to do is just land and just have a look around and went, what is going on here? That's all they needed to do. Got ideas from what they seen in these pictures that they brought back, or was sent back, I should say. Bombastic Buster. The car looks like an 84 Cutlass. It's hard to tell, right? Yeah. Looks a lot like it now that you mention it. James Cragen, you said, Chris, I wonder if a huge eruption from the massive Olympus Mons volcano that is on Mars, 700 kilometers in diameter, 24 kilometers in height, could have contributed to the Mars demise. What do you think? Absolutely, it could very well be. If they had this kind of catastrophic event, and let's say it was enough to shake the whole planet, right? Then you can bet it probably triggered a couple of these off. Because they even said that Olympus Mons, and there was one other that they said that at one point was live, meaning it did erupt. Now, remember back in the day, and this goes back a few years ago, maybe even a little bit more than that, where they see a plume coming out from one of these, you know, volcanoes. It was literally, it looked like it was coming out of the side. When I brought down the brightness to that plume right there, it didn't blow out of the side like Mount St. Helens, right? This thing was at the very base, and it was probably X amount of miles away from that volcano, at least from the base of it, and you can see what looked like a square or rectangular, you know, shape at the base of that, where they tried to make that super bright. So it almost makes you think, okay, if that was there, well, how do we know it wasn't something that crashed, and that's what we're seeing a plume from? Notice how you never heard about it again, right? Never heard about it again. So that thing just erupted and just quit, right? Oh, let me see. What's going on there, Sky Blue? Good to see you in there. LJV, the third, I saw another channel that showed trees and other various anomalies. Are you finding more of this? Not really. You won't really find that in these photos. And I'm even talking about the Perseverance as well as the Curiosity. If you see it, well, if they're there, they're blocking them out. You can't see them, right? There are some real fake channels now out there and showing like what looks like beer bottles on the surface and really good clarity, right? And I'm talking about the mountains. Yeah, it's complete bull. I even told that one channel, I said, stop making these false videos. You know, if you can't show the actual links to NASA, then you're spreading disinformation. Don't you know, I went back the next day, my comment was gone. Imagine that. Jack Lambert, what's going on? He said, made it. Subs, and see. What's going on, Jack? Good to see you in there. Phil Cox, you said, even Arthur C. Clarke said there was a good probability of trees and medium-sized creatures on Mars, if my memory serves me correctly. It does. He has said that. And I remember that because they were talking about that. And there was other people, like J.P. Skipper, back in the day when they found what looked like lakes and trees around the lakes, and so on and so forth. So I believe 100% is at least, you know, like I said, greenery, insects. And if you got that, you know, you almost have this like cycle, right? You know, one animal feeds off a smaller one, so on and so forth. So there may be much larger animals, insects, or whatever it may be, right? Quantum Discovery Network, what's going on? Good to have you in there. You said, great work you have been doing. I appreciate that. Thank you. Good question. Was it... It just jumped on me here. Jack, you said, Turklerin, you said, what if gray aliens are created by human aliens? Not exactly sure what you mean by that. I mean, is it possible there's hybrids? You know, I mean, they've been messing around with different things. Like, think about it. You know, you always see these scientific shows where they're trying to breed this creature or take the DNA from this creature, put it into humans so they have cat-like reflexes and can jump and have superhuman strength for these soldiers and so on and so forth. Is it possible they've been messing around? Sure. Remember Dolly the sheep back in the day? I think it was in the late 80s, I think it was. So you know they've been messing around. They could probably do the same thing, change DNA with humans and so on and so forth. You know, you can use a pig heart in your own. It's very close to ours. So is it possible they can try to manipulate DNA and combine it? I'm sure they've tried. I'm sure they've failed many a times too. Yeah, it's nuts. Well, I appreciate it, LGV, the third. I appreciate your support. Thank you. It's just awesome that people do that. Martin Wolf, he said, can you enhance this picture anymore, Chris, just to make sure it ain't NASA playing with the usual games and not hiding anything else? I've actually done that, Martin. I went over this over and over again, and I said, it comes back to the same thing. I don't know, again, if it's our eyes playing games, then it's really, really funky. Here's another thing. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I just noticed this now. Right here on the very right, you can see this coming down and sloping down, but it's mixed in with all of this crap they have here. But you can see something right here, smooth, and then starts to drop down on the right-hand side here, halfway up the picture. You can see that. And you can see where they just look like they took airbrushed or digitized this out somehow, but there's so much stuff in these photos, guys. You know, to me, you know, I actually have an inkling that these are real and they're literally on Mars. And the reason why I say that is, who's to say that they weren't more advanced than us or way ahead of their time compared to us, and now we're just catching up, and now we look at these and go, that's silly. Why the hell would these things be on Mars? Why couldn't they be? I've said this before. I said, what if, and again, it's a big if, because again, we don't know what to make of these. We assume that there's some kind of vehicle, but how do we know that, you know, like I said, that they weren't, you know, evolved long before us, and, you know, we learned off of them? How do we know? Is it a possibility? I think so. Even if these aren't what we think they are, they still are something that's intelligently made, no matter what it is. They don't look like the surrounding rocks. They don't look like boulders. They look like the shape of things that we're familiar with. So, you know, I believe that they were way ahead of us at the time. And again, we are where they were at back then. And I'm not so sure. People say, oh, it's millions. I don't think it is. Because keep in mind, right around, especially Gale Crater, they have said that there's an actual, you know, water cycle in Gale Crater. This is the reason why they drill, every time they try to bring up a sand or soil sample, it literally would get caught in a glass tube. And the guy says, why is it doing that? He says, well, because it, you know, it can get too damp and get caught up in there. So it's a drill but at the same time, it's got like a sleeve, a plastic sleeve, and it brings that soil up. So it brings up to the spectrum analyzer, and then of course it analyzes it, and sometimes it can get jammed. And they're trying to figure out how is this happening. So he says, is it damp? He says, well, yeah, we found out there's an actual water cycle on Mars. And he's like, really? So, you know, so if that's true, okay, water cycle, we get a lot of brine, which is highly salt content water. Wouldn't it like eat the crap out of the steel that these are made out of? I don't think it's been that long ago, just based on what we're seeing and what I've seen in a lot of these photos. Bush Corey, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Ricardo, you said life is cyclical, and what has happened before will happen again. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, this thing just jumped on me again. Awesome. Yeah, Snaggletooth 1351. Yeah, you're talking about what we just touched on. You said absolutely Egyptian gifts just depict what they were seeing. Humans with dog heads, winged humans, DNA transplant. It's been going on for probably millennial, I think, or thousands of years. Yeah, I mean, and it does. You see a lot of their, you know, etchings and carvings and everything else, and petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, all these other stuff where you can see that it looks like different animals, like, you know, like I said, head in a lion's body or whatever it may be, right? LGV the third, you said, we are the only species that are born without the ability to walk and feed ourselves for quite a while, and also without hair. We probably are all Martians. Well, here's the thing too, and you know, if you haven't seen this, which I wasn't aware of this, but they say like, you know, infants when they, you know, when they're just born, and I'm talking about they literally come out of the mother, you know, they cut the umbilical cord, so on and so forth. I never knew this, of course this is years ago I found this out, but they called the babies will literally, if you put them on their stomach, they'll do the breast crawl. They'll literally grow up purposely, you don't even have to touch them, and they'll crawl up and they'll start feeding, which, you know, you go, well, that's not far-fetched. Well, you know, you thought that, you know, you had to put the child there and then let them feed, but no, they literally had done it 2 or 3 times. You can see the baby actually crawl up. So I think we're very intelligent even at birth. But they say our life or our bodies are more in tune with a Martian day, which is like, you know, 24 hours and 40 minutes, I think it is. And like 13 seconds or some goofy shit. But either way you look at it, I think that's very interesting that, you know, because there's less gravity, therefore your body wouldn't shrink over the years. You'd have less problems with your bones. And as far as like, you know, well, maybe the way it is now, it might be in tune, but they claimed that it was probably had more gravity. Obviously, it was more like Earth. There was a large ocean. You know, I think, and I've seen this, I'm going to show you this video because I wanted to show you this. So I'll just get right to this in a second. Mimi reacts says, yes, they do, Chris. You know, babies can smell milk. Yeah, I mean, it's something that you just automatic instinct, right? Now, it should be, let me just go back out of this. All right, here's the video. This is funny. Let me see if I got the audio turned up on this. Now, this is the very first photo. This is from the InSight lander, folks. Now, listen to what this guy says. It's actually pretty funny. First photo. As you can see, there's a bunch of specks of dirt, whatever, all over the lens, and you can see the actual, you know, blue sky and the sand. It looks like something sand like we'd see here. But what I find interesting is that it just happened to be the first photo. It just happened to be all of these specks. I think that's a filter. I think they put it on in case that camera came on, you've seen something you shouldn't have seen, and I think that's what that's all about. But listen to this. Let me see if I can. Let me shut my mouth here and then turn this on.
You can see a better view. You can see that really is debris. And there's the horizon back there, the bluish sky. That's part of the lander deck on the front left. I can't make out, but it looks like there's not a lot of rocks in the field of view. But those dots you see there are very likely to be dust particles on the lens, the dust cover.
I don't know how loud that is. Now, I don't know if you guys heard that, but when you see this, it's funny because, like I said, I don't know why I'm not hearing it through my speakers here. It's kind of weird, which I should be. Oh, it's because I got them way down. That'll do it every time. All right, there it goes. Now, I'm going to play this again. And it's interesting what this guy says. It's funny.
You can see a better view. You can see that really is debris. And there's the horizon back there, the bluish sky. That's part of the lander deck on the front left. I can't make out, but it looks like there's not a lot of rocks in the field of view. But those dots you see there are very likely to be dust particles on the lens, the dust cover.
It's like, wait a minute. How is this on the dust cover? Which one was the dust cover? Think about this a minute. Was it the blue sky one or was it the other one? That's what makes no sense. It really doesn't make any sense at all. Like I said, when I looked at this,
you can see a better view. You can see that really is debris. And there's the horizon back there, the bluish sky.
So he says the bluish sky. Okay, supposedly this is a filter or a cover for the lens. Okay, well, at least that's the way they're making it sound, because they said there's the specs on the lens.
That's part of the lander deck on the front left. I can't make out, but it looks like there's not a lot of rocks in the field of view.
Suddenly it's all red, which is crazy.
But those dots you see there are very likely to be dust particles on the lens, the dust cover.
Which makes no darn sense. It really makes no darn sense. Okay. On the Curiosity rover, by the way, I hope you guys like my screen thing. I thought that was a pretty cool photo. Where did it go? This is what they use. This is on the Mollycam. This is on this at the time. This is Curiosity, and this is at the end of the turret arm, and this is where you got all the tools and everything else. Now, this on the right-hand side looks like steel brushes. That is the RAT tool, which is an acronym for rock abrasion tool. That's what they'll use to try to clean off a rock and try to inspect it and everything else. But this Mollycam, this thing flips up and then flips back down. Notice the color of it. That's what's going on. They can open and close this thing. So wait a minute. So if the dust cover is showing the one at the blue, and then all of a sudden it went to red, which one is the dust cover here? They're full of it. That planet, it has a blue sky, no doubt about it, and it showed the natural colors to it. Then all of a sudden, oh, let's make it all red. Probably said, oh shit, we made a mistake. Quick. And then change it. You've seen it. Just changed it that quick. It's crazy. I just can't understand that, but that's the games they play. Mimi, exactly. He said the blue sky must be the real one. That's what I'm thinking. And then all of a sudden they drop like a filter. Now keep in mind, you can use your own digital camera. It's got Zephyr, black and white, so on and so forth. It's got all kinds of filters you can use, so you don't need this little type door like that. It's just open and closing like color lens. You don't need to do that. So what's the deal? Is this thing, you know, which one's the real one? I say the colored one. Obviously, you can see the blue sky and you can see the very gravel on the ground. That is absolutely the real photo. But what they did was, I think they have that other filter was all the specs on there. Because one should have the cover on, one should have the cover off, and yet the specs are still there. So what kind of BS are they trying to feed us here, folks? Oh, okay, Jack, I was just going up here a little bit. And they said, I guess it said, had identical twins and taught to swim 2 months old. Amazing they know how to hold their breath and don't panic. having them as a gift. They talk without actually speaking, consciously connected. You know, it's funny because you said about the 2 months old. This is the reason, oh, I shouldn't say reason, but this is what the ninja warriors used to do. What they would do is they would take a child and they would test them. They would put them in this giant barrel of water, and if they swam and fought to swim, you know, just normal swimming or fought to swim, they were then taught as a warrior. The ones that didn't, that was the end of that. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, they weren't considered a warrior. They were just like, I don't know if they just let them drown, because that would seem inhumane. So I would have thought they'd take them out. But that's how they would judge them if they were going to be a strong warrior or not. So it's funny you mentioned that, so I figured I'd pass that. James, I'm glad you get a little sympathy for these guys. Thanks again for your support. You said, Chris, let's get the cloth for the lens, man. Wipe it off. Yeah, it's that weird thing. It's like, it says, oh, chances are these specs are on this this lens cover. Wait a minute. Stuff was on the other picture, and yet it was there. Did they not take the lens off? Which one is the real photo? I mean, this is how they got busted big time. I'm watching that thing, and believe it or not, I think later on, a little bit later in that video, the woman actually says, oh, look, a blue sky. That's the same video. And I went, oh, it's almost like they didn't know it either. Like, oh my God, it's a blue sky. They were totally blown away. So do the people that are actually doing the normal jobs at NASA even know what's really going on? And then, of course, the higher-ups and the people that are in the, you know, black ops side of it, or more scientific side to the NASA and ESA and all these other space agencies, they're in the know, but the normal people just doing what they think is their normal job, mundane job, is that, you know, do they believe, you know, oh, well, for her to have that kind of surprised look, how did she not know this? So, Gerda Bonus, what's going on? He said, so Mars had an extremely Earth-like atmosphere, and humanity has been kept in darkness all this time. Pretty much. Even if we would assume the sun, well, we don't assume, we know it is, you know, because Mars is further from the sun, so they say it's going to get dimmer sunlight. Okay, we'll go with that. But yet you see a lot of these photos, it's extremely bright in the sky. We have small solar panels that could charge that helicopter, and it's got dust all over it. How is it even charging that? If I did that to the solar panels I have, it would never charge a thing. So unless it's got its own electrostatic discharge on the surface of those solar panels, I can't see how it's shaking the dust off of it. And I don't know how it's recharging itself. So the only thing I can think of is, because there's a lot less atmosphere, or barely any, is that the sun is still coming through strong even though it's smaller. So it may be the equivalent of what we get here on Earth, because again, it's farther from the sun than Earth is, but you've got atmosphere, so less sunlight and radiation, almost no atmosphere, a lot more sun penetration, more radiation, unless of course you're near the magnetic field areas, because it's not the whole planet doesn't have a magnetic field, it's sporadic. So if you're under that, you're protected. But other than that, I think that's what's really going on, and I think there's a lot of sunlight and blue sky on that planet. And that's just based on what you just saw. Snaggletooth 3151, you said the dust cover, that dust cover is crap, then it's not doing its job too well. Yeah, pretty much. You would have thought, that's why I said I think they made a mistake. I think they were trying to put the red one up first with the dust cover, saying, okay, this is the photo, clearly there's some stuff on the lens, okay, then take the dust cover off, let's see what it looks like. But it seems like they screwed up and they had it the other way around. And they were like, and I think the actual effects, they're effects, not actual like dust or dirt on the lens. I think that's an effect that they use just so you can see. So if they put on the camera and there's something they didn't want you to see, that was the best way to hide it. That's how they did it. And of course, all they're going to do is just remove the that particular, see, they just put it on screen as far as the effects. All they do is they're seeing the real one, but they're just putting that up for us, or the public. Gerda Bonner says, Chris, perfect color balance analysis. Yeah, yeah. You know, again, they tricked the people, they tricked the eyes. They want you to believe that it's nothing but a dead planet, never had any life, maybe was like Earth millions of years ago. I think that history of that planet is nothing like they're telling us. Yeah, it's a good idea, Ricardo. He said, screen grab the image right now, take it to Photoshop and apply auto color balance. Yeah, watch what happens to it. Yeah, George, exactly what I was getting at. You said that we have lots of back problems on Earth because we came from Mars, as backs are not used in Earth's gravity. Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, again, if you're on Mars with less gravity, you don't have that compression of your body over the course of time. It just takes that beating over well, not thousands, I'm talking about evolutionary wise, but as far as you yourself, it takes X amount of years and you start, that's why they say you start getting shorter. You know, you get, of course, you have, you know, degenerative disease, or your bones just start to get, they shrink and everything else. And that's why you start shrinking, right? Phil Cox, you said, I think they now have admitted the sky is blue. Yeah, they're pretty much doing it now. They're probably saying, well, hell, the cat's out of the bag. This is the reason why you can see a lot of photos now with blue sky. Now, the last one I'd done, well, no, it wasn't the last one. It was the prior one that I said was the first one of that basically two-part, was that there was a blue sky, but when you did an auto color in that, the sky turned like a white. So sometimes you can't always believe that. And I think, you know, the sky is blue, and I think it's a normal dark soil like we have here on Earth. And it could change a little bit because we do have different color soils here on Earth as well. Depends on what part of the Earth you're on. So for me, I think that was the real original photo. And then, like I said, it went and switched right over to the kind of zephyr reddish color, right? Yeah, it's exactly what I was getting at, James. And again, thank you. You said, Chris, it might be departmentalization in NASA. Absolutely. And that's been going on since the Apollo missions. That's why a lot of these guys, some of them would be building like the electronics and the panels for the capsules. Some of them would be building the thrusters. And a lot of them didn't even know what the hell they were building them for. They just knew they were engines, and they just didn't know. And then when they all came together, they, oh, that's what that is. So that's basically what it comes down to. Steve Garnham said, time to go. Good night, Chris and friends. All right, Steve, have yourself a good night, good weekend. We'll catch you again, right? Josh D, you said, yes, there is so much evidence. We are not originated on Earth. Evolution would have done a bad job as we are originated here. Oh, if we originated here, I guess you're trying to say. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like if there was, what was it? What was that movie? I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but they had like there's a boy that was actually born on Mars, and then and of course we had a colonization on there, and then he was brought here to Earth, and I guess he met this girl and so on and so forth, and it was just really weird. It's like, to think how much we would be different, because they said you'd be probably taller and spindlier and everything else because you don't have that gravitational pull, so you'd be taller as you grew, and thinner, and, you know, like, what was that other one that's really popular from Mars? Where he could actually jump like friggin', like almost a mile when he jumped. I just had it. You guys will answer it, I'm sure. I know what you meant, Josh. You said originated from. Let me see. Scientific search for extraterrestrial. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Says, hi, all. Yeah, sky blue. You said maybe the wind raises dust quite often and with a low gravity. Now, yeah, which is true, right? But they do say, like, they say, oh, they had like a terrible windstorm. It was like, you know, they have like 300-mile-an-hour windstorms. But it's like an equivalent to 56 miles, 50 to 60 miles an hour here, based on its atmosphere, Martian atmosphere. Now, I still would not want to be pummeled with gravel, fine gravel, at 60 miles an hour. So this is another reason why I don't believe that these objects that we were looking at earlier have been there that long. I think this devastation happened not long ago, within the last 100 years, 200 years. Now, as far as anything else that happened on Mars, that's probably thousands of years ago, as far as the devastation. But I still don't think it was that long ago. And again, based on what we're seeing in these photos, that's why I don't believe that's true. Now, I'm sure if you guys got John Carter, thank you, Linda Borum, yeah. John Carter, remember him? Like when he got on there, that was pretty funny. He went to go walk, and well, first of all, he fell down or just kind of jumped. When he went to go walk, he'd kind of, just kind of like leaped and jumped and fell down at the same time until he realized, wait a minute, I can, with my muscle mass, I'm used to Earth gravity. Now that I'm on Mars, I can jump like there's no tomorrow, and, people are like trying to figure out how come he can do that. So it's a good show, good movie. This is Barsoom. Josh D. Sorry, I typed like a Martian primate too. It's no problem, man. Sometimes you can hit the keys wrong. Trust me, I do it all the time. Cloud 33 Studios. Are those Battlestar Galactica ships on your screen, Chris? Right here? No, that's the tools at the end of the turret arm on the Curiosity rover. And what I was showing, where it says Molly right here, that is actually a lens cover that opens and closes. It has these hinges right here, one and then two on the right, and it literally opens and closes. That's how you get that reddish color, and then you take it off, and it is actually just clear. Refreshing. Yep, Turklin, yep, you got it too. Yeah, that was another good one, Mimi. Mission to Mars, that was another good one. Richard, no, hold on. Just jump on me here. Matthew Luce, you said, hi, Chris and everyone. Great show today, as usual. Just here chilling in the background today, taking it all in. Well, I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for being here, Matthew. Ricardo, you said, ever read Dark Mission? Mike Barra, Richard Hoagland? NASA is controlled by three factions vying for power and control: the Masons, the Nazis, and the Magicians. I'm not a big fan of Mike Barra. He's a bloated schmuck. I'm just not a big fan of him. It's something about the way he tells his stories. They just don't seem to like to add up. Like a lot of these people who have come out originally, and you always see them in TV shows, most of them, not all, because, I'd be lying if I said all of them are like that. But it's like every year there's something new. It's like to keep perpetuating, making books and everything else. That's why I'm not a big fan of some of these. Now, some of the ones that are telling the truth, now I believe Richard Hoagland, because he was with J.P. Skipper at the time, seeing these photos and everything else, I believe he could be directing the populace in a certain way too, as far as Richard, but he has a lot of factual stuff. Some of the stuff is borderline, but so isn't mine. It could be either or, right? And I always say that. It's all speculative. But as far as Mike Barra, I'm just not a big fan of the guy. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It just shows, it says BS all over his face. I don't know. And you guys might think different of him. I don't know. And I'm not going to, knock you for it. I just not a big fan of him. Well, I mean, Watcher, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Oh, really, Richard? Yeah, Ricardo, you said, I was just looking at the other guys too. Chris, just try to send a super chat, but Google seems to think I keep getting my CVV code incorrect, effing with us. Somehow I don't doubt it. Don't doubt it in the least bit. You can always do it I don't have the link up today, but the Mars anomalies, or my, what do you call it there? Not my Mars anomalies, but, well, it is actually, but my PayPal too. Scientific search for extraterrestrials says Richard Hoagland is real smart. Yeah, I don't know if I believe everything he says, but he's very, very brilliant. He's got a lot of facts to back his butt up. So I'm going to believe him probably more than anybody that's out there. Because J.P. Skipper was the forerunner of all this, right? And of course, Hoagland was right alongside him. So I believe in his work more than pretty much anybody else is out there. And again, you know, like I said, J.P. Skipper was showing what looked like the lakes and the trees and everything else. What's going on there, Frack? From Samantha Morris is in there. I didn't see you get in there, Samantha. Good to see you in there as well. Yeah, channel UTM. In fact, I'm glad you popped in there. I wanted to give a shout out to you because remember I had said in that video, folks, where I said I'm probably the only one actually enhancing these. Now I did explain to him that it wasn't so much that nobody's enhancing, it's the way I'm trying to actually expose the way that NASA is actually hiding these things in these photos and the different techniques that they use. But you can jump over to channel UTM. He does a great job of bringing out these objects, and he does a great job, tutorials and everything else. So, and I think I even told him I stand corrected as far as anybody doing that, but I wanted to be more specific, and I wasn't. So I did specify this time so he would know better that I wasn't actually dogging somebody else's work. Truthfully, I didn't even know about your channel, but I'm glad you popped in there so I can mention it. So channel UTM, look for his channel, a lot of good tutorials on there. And he says, hello, Chris, just did a quick enhancement on the pier, the one I just showed you, it looked like vehicles. The crater line is false. The cars no longer look like cars and seem to be part of a large overall structure. Can send it to you if you like. Yeah, sure. MarsAnomalies@AOL.com. Yeah, I'd be interested to check it out. See, I've enhanced that thing many different ways, and that always came back to the same way it looks. Now, if you have a different technique and it comes out, then yeah, I'd love to check it out. Because it would not surprise me if it did turn out to be something, a structure, but is it possible? Now, did you see the cars as part of the structure too, or was it something lower? And the reason why I asked that is because not only between what looked like those cars, it looked like parts of structure there, and it looked like there was a car in that smooth area I showed that when I enhanced it before, it also looked like another car. Is it possible that those were washed onto a structure there? I don't know. Yeah, send it to me. I'd be willing to check it out. Bex, thank you very much for your support again. I do appreciate you. He says, cool. He looks like he's a little drunk. Poor little pear guy. Paul Fitchman, you said, what's your opinion on Roger's channel? MFU. I don't know if I'm familiar with that. I'm not sure. Mark Staley has said, just curious, where did you get that shirt? I'd like to have one like it. Yeah, I mean, this was given to me by my daughter. I think it was on either, it might have been my birthday. And I thought that was the coolest thing because it has all three rovers it talks about, even though it's just got the Curiosity on it, but it talks about the Sojourner, Spirit, and Opportunity, and of course, Curiosity. So I thought it was pretty cool. I have to actually get an updated shirt now because now we have Perseverance, which they do sell them, has Perseverance as well as you know, Ingenuity helicopter, so I'll definitely be checking that out. Okay. Let me keep it at that. Yeah, Samantha, just I see you saying hello. Good to see you in there. Yeah, Sky Blue, I noticed that too. Emirates rather. He said the UAE now have the orbiter at Mars. Maybe they will release actual pictures unfiltered. I wouldn't hold your breath. And the reason why I say that is because it's almost like anybody who's going there now is saying, listen, we're doing this for our own knowledge and information about what's going on Mars, and that the general public will never find out a thing about it. It's kind of like what China did. We're thinking, oh, China's going to get to Mars. It's going to get to the southern half of the moon. This is going to be awesome. No, they were worse than... One of the first photos I've seen from China on the moon was trash. It was complete trash. It was worse than anything I've ever seen from NASA. I'm like, what is going on here? Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I'd love to see them do it, don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't hold my breath. Oliver Klein, I don't know if I said hello to you, if I seen you in there earlier. But hello if I did not. Kurtabana, she said, Bezos needs landing on Mars and take thousands of real Mars pictures. I think he's aware of it too. What other guy who's the CEO or owner, call him what you will, was it, what was his name, that says, oh, no, there's no doubt in my mind there's aliens out there. I mean, they know this. The first thing I would do, if I was a multi-billionaire like these guys, I'd send my own probe to Mars. There's no company out there that's going to deny them. They're going to go, hey, listen, go to this rocket company, a satellite company that does all that. Listen, I need this built. Go ahead and build it for me. Or if they're capable of doing it themselves, they'll do it themselves. Just go ahead and send it. I just need pictures. I don't care if the thing crashes and burns after. I need real good photos of this of Mars, either going to orbit, going to lower orbit, and keep going lower until it crash lands. I need pictures of this area. Okay. They're going to get paid multi-millions to do this. They would be down with it. Turkleman says, NASA hiding ancient human artifacts on Mars. Well, whether they're human or not, they're still artifacts, and they still got some answering to do. Now, some people have asked me, Chris, how do you know they're not putting this crap in these photos just to throw you off? Very good question. Then they still have to answer to the public, right? No matter how you look at it, they have to answer to the public. Will they? No. Unless, of course, they get their pants down and somebody just, hey, you wouldn't believe what I just found in this picture. Meaning, what do you call it? Yeah, this is a, what do you call it, Haynes, Ricardo. I think I said that earlier. It is a Haynes manual book kind of cover. But yeah, they, now you threw me off. Oh, that's funny. But, yeah, like I said, I mean, we were just talking about how all these other countries are going. The likelihood of them saying something, I wouldn't bank on it. James Cragen, your question was, Chris, a question for you, man. Why with all of the evidence that is now available to us by your work and research and abundance of the rest from the rest, etc., why are they still so doubtful to many? I don't know. I just don't think, there's many people who said, listen, I've showed these photos, either photos they found themselves or photos that I've enhanced or somebody else has done. They said, man, what do you think of these photos? I see rocks. And that's all they see. It's weird. It's almost like they go, and now let me backtrack. I don't know if these people said, oh, I got a picture from Mars for you. Let me just show you this. Don't do that. Because the first thing it triggers, they go, well, I was taught that Mars is a lifeless planet. So when I showed that photo of what looked like cars in there, I said, when I showed him the photo, I said, I got a black and white photo. It's not the best photo on the planet, but it's not the best quality, but tell me what you see. He goes, okay. I showed it to him, and he's like I said, he's like staring at the photo. He looks at it, and he goes, okay. And like I said, he laughed about it, kind of snickered a little bit. He says, it looks like some kind of weird army Jeep. Thank you. That's all I said to him. I said, I've asked my own family, I've asked you, I've asked many others, and they come up with the same exact conclusion. So, again, is it mass, just brain dead? I mean, is it mass pareidolia, which I hate that word? I don't believe it is. I believe these things are actually in the photo. Yeah, scientific search for extraterrestrials. You said, you mean the owner of Virgin? Yeah, if you're talking about Virgin Galactic, I'm thinking that's him. You got Bezos, you got the other guy, what's his name? And of course you got Elon. Because there's like three of them in the running. if you want to call it that. It's like the great space race of the 2020s. Yeah, Rich as well, Ricardo, from Lockheed Martin. Yep. David Williams said, "Hi, Chris. Love your channels." I appreciate it, David. That's awesome. Glad you're there to see them. Beck says, "I am a billionaire." Sweet. Wish I could be the same. Channel UTM, he said, "Hey, will do. I'll spend a little more time on it and see what appears. Very interesting photo. Cheers, guys." Yeah, right back at you, man. Like I said, I was able to watch a couple of his videos, Channel UTMs, and I was just like, wow, it is pretty interesting. There's a lot of tutorials and stuff like that, and how he brings this stuff out, really cool. And I think a lot of people need to see more and more of this. Yes and no, Torkler, and I see what you're saying. You said, no, Chris, no billionaire cannot send anything to Mars or Moon. It must be orchestrated. Unless, of course, they just, grease some palms. Think about it. You know what I mean? And even if they could get away with it, let's suppose for a moment that you send this thing up in the middle of the night, a satellite of some sort. And it doesn't have to be a super huge rocket. It could be just a small satellite. Send it up there and people go, let's say they're watching the skies going, and these space agents goes, hey, wait a minute, an authorized flight to the moon. They can see where it probably came from in the area, what country, but to see exactly who put it up there, all they need to do is go up there, look at the moon, Mars, or whatever, and take pictures, and it explode right there. Who cares? And as long as they get the pictures back, they know for themselves. So I can almost promise you people are sneaky like that, and they can do that. Hell, I got people in the neighborhood that can't even do the speed limit in my neighborhood, which is 15 miles an hour. People are driving by doing like 35. It's like they can't even obey the laws. How do you think a multi-billionaire would not try to get away with it? Alex Krabs, yeah, you're right about that. You said the more you practice looking for something, the more you will find it, and the people who don't see anything but rocks just need to look a little bit longer. And you guys have known I've done these panoramas where we just kind of scout over them, go real slow, and then I'll show you what looks like a rock, and you go, yeah, it's a rock, until you zoom into it. You'll see what looks like a transparent rock. First of all, there's no transparent rocks shouldn't be any transparent rocks on anything. But you can see like an object behind, like a square or something, right behind a rock that looks like it's semi-transparent. So that's telling me that they drew over it and put this here. And it could be like what they did back in the day for the moon photos. They put acetate over it, they could doctor it up, put anything they want, and then overlay it over it, and then take the photo again. And therefore, it's now blocked out. Although now it's just done digitally, and it's completely it's basically interlaced or overlaced onto the original photo. And this is the reason why I was trying to show you that tutorial, how they're doing that. There's so much in these things, it's bizarre. It's mind-blowing, actually, how they do this stuff. Phil Cox, you said the last Mars Find video looks like a portrait of a person smoking. Somebody else said that too. Somebody else actually said that. I guess it depends. If you look at the whole photo, it can look like something very large. Somebody said it looked like what looked like a ship, like it was like busted up or something like that. And he's talking about the overall, right? But if you guys look at the foreground in the middle, I didn't even mention that stuff. Go look at the middle of that. If you go back to the video, look at it again, you'll see what looks like things in the middle that look like things all in a row. It's just really weird. I don't know if that's just tons of structures there as well, or what's going on with that photo. Either way, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Richard Branson, thank you, Scientific Search for Extraterrestrials. SSFE. We can call it that. Or something like that. Yeah, Richard Branson. I think it was him that said that, yeah, he's aware that there's aliens out there. Yep, Jack, you're absolutely right. Jack Lambert said it's easy to fool someone than it is to convince them that they're being fooled. That's a fact. Yep, Alton Crouch, you said it's like when you look for specific things on the beach At first it's difficult to find, but then you train your eyes and you can, they're easy to find, which is true. All right, Mimi, good seeing you in there. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. You said, I'm taking off here. Chris, thank you for the hangout. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and stay safe. Until next Friday. Oh, yeah. We'll be going to jumping off this as well. Then awesome. Man, the time goes by so darn fast here. Unreal. Steve Wagner said, hi, Chris. Wonderful Friday to you. Question, life on Mars? How are they going to feel with us mining? I guess there you were trying to put. That's if we were to say there is actually life on Mars. I'm not sure if there is. That could be a 50-50 thing where they're underground and they're just like, you know, I don't know if they're just like, I don't know what these things are walking or driving around our planet, but okay, we'll just stay out of sight, out of mind. Or, you know, they just stay underground. And as long as they're away from that rover or whatever, they don't have to be seen. But again, like I said, if we were to go by what some people say, well, the Martians are very small. Well, then we decided to go to that planet and say, we don't care if they're there. They have no way to defend themselves. So if they get in the way, they're going to get run over. Or we could just blast them because they have the actual laser on there, which can actually penetrate the surface of rocks and, of course, soil and everything else. You can imagine what that would do to a small animal or person, just go right through them probably, or at least kill them. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a crush, you're right about that. He said, time flies when you're having fun. Great for All says, good night, everyone. AM PM, what's going on? Good to see you. He said, why did NASA not hide the image of the Mars crab or the Mars donut? I'm not sure about the donut thing. That one there was pretty cool. That's the one I guess appeared in one frame and then it was going another. I believe that's the one you're talking about. That one's pretty interesting. The Martian crab, that's BS. I've actually went into that photo and enhanced it. It's nothing like that showing. They just try to make that look like, you know, something so they can, oh wow, look at this, Martian crab. Anybody who's literally gone into that photo and actually enhanced it properly, it's not what it appears to be. It's not that at all. Now, there is something weird in that spot, but a Martian crab, it's not. I believe it's something else that may be intelligently made and not a creature at all. As far as the donut thing, yes, I believe that's bizarre because that was one frame, there was nothing there. The next frame, there was something there. And I think that's the one you're talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong, AM PM. But if that is the one, I believe that one is crazier than the crab. Frank Centurion, thank you very much for your support, sir. I do appreciate you. Enjoy your coffee from me. Will do, brother. Definitely will do. Let's see. Turkleman says Mars was an old trailer of humans. Mm-hmm. LGV the Third says great talk. Stay safe. Good night. You do the same. You do the same. Phil Cox says it's 0:39 here, so I'm off in the garden. See if the clouds have cleared so I can get some footage of the moon. Yeah, I like the, I don't know if it was the chemtrails you had out there. Was it contrails or the chemtrail video you had done? That was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Red sky. Bite it. Oh. If anybody hasn't hit the thumbs up, please do so. It helps get these videos out. It would be greatly appreciated. I want to thank everybody for their support. Every support is just support for the channel. It's just awesome. You know, it's just a simple, a great channel. I love it. And it's just cool that more and more people are jumping on board. This is awesome. And although we're being stifled by the algorithms of YouTube, and they're not putting you in the suggested side of a lot of these videos, you know, it's cool that people are, you know, spreading the word. In fact, I may have a couple interviews coming up, you know, small ones with other people, other channels. So I'll make sure I'll have the video to it if I don't actually advertise it. and let you guys know, so we'll be on the live feed with us, and we can just check it out. So that's in the works, and like I said, we got some more videos coming up, just cool stuff. And you never know what you're going to find. I always call them crackerjacks and photos, because you never know what you're going to get in there when you get into these photos. Just really awesome stuff. And, you know, again, you just don't know what you're going to find. But anyway, I'm going to say good night to everyone, or good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. Good morning, good evening, or afternoon rather, good evening. It's hard to tell where everybody's at, but I'm glad everybody joins us. It's just awesome to have a great bunch of people, as always. It makes it a great hangout. You guys are awesome, ladies and gents, that is. And that's it, man. Can't tell you enough how much I love you guys, and I appreciate the support, like I said, and it definitely helps the channel out. And, you know, and just a simple, you know, I love your work and everything else, that's uplifting in itself, because, again, I know a lot of you folks have said, hey, man, I'll tell you what, and we've said this more than once. In fact, you guys have said it more than once, where you said, I can't talk to anybody else about this stuff, so to come here with like-minded people, it's just awesome to be able to do. So, and I love the idea that you guys are here doing this. So a big thank you to everyone for being here and being with the channel as long as you have. And it's just great to just have good people here. And again, James, thank you very much for your support. So Chris and everyone tonight, great hangout again. Thumbs up, everyone. Anyway, everybody have themselves a great weekend. Be safe. Try to stay away from people. Distance yourself. Whether you're vaccinated or not, just distance yourself. It's not worth the aggravation. And stay off the news. It's nothing but negative garbage. And it just keeps it perpetuating the negativity. Just get off of it. Go watch videos, go do something else, go play games with your kids, whatever you got to do. Mow the lawn would be better, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. What time is it now? 44. We'll leave it on for another 10 minutes, let you guys chat it up a little bit more. And so I got just about 7:45 here, 7:55 roughly, and we'll shut down the stream. So everyone, be careful, stay safe. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.